Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to the quarterfinals of the Titan Immortal League. My name is Tokibi, and joining me is Quacks. And how are you doing, Quacks?
I'm doing really good. Finally, we're at the best of fives here for Titan. And, you know, Toki, when we were on Tuesday for AML, we had Bing Chillers and Dorado. Now, it's Akuma versus Dorado. And I do feel like we have a common theme between these two series, my friend. It's of course Akuma, guys. I was fooling you the entire time. But in all honesty, we talked a lot about Bing Chillers kind of being a dominant factor, a really prestigious organization as pertains to Aegis. I feel like Akuma is kind of like the Bing Chillers of Titan. They have constantly been here. They have been around this space for a really long time. They have put up impressive results, and Akuma Twinblades, 5-2, second in their division, are looking to repeat their organization's past success here in the Titan Immortal League.
Yeah, definitely gonna be two big organizations really fighting it out today. And for both these teams, these are their only teams in Titan right now, at least for the Immortal division. So in the quarterfinals, we're already gonna have to say goodbye to one of the biggest orgs, regardless of who wins, who loses today. But I gotta ask before we do head more into this draft here, who do you favor going in just by names value?
I mean, honestly, I was looking at the groupings for Akuma Twinblades, and this was one where we covered it last week, and you know, everyone was super clumped together. That division looked extremely difficult. So honestly, I feel like Akuma Twinblades, they've had strength of competition, they've had harder competition in their respective group, and they've come out as a better team, at least standings wise. So if I had to give a slight edge to an organization, I would say it's them, but it's all about what happens on the Rift at the end of the day.
Exactly. And we're gonna have the Winter Rift today, so I'm pretty excited about that. I mean, you were bringing it up the other day, finally got to see it, and it's honestly gorgeous. It's a ton of fun to watch, but I'll stop delaying here because we do have a draft going on here. And some pretty interesting bans. The Fiora and Poppy going to be banned away by Akuma, and they're going to lock in the Cho'Gath first. Now, that's not something we see super often.
No, it absolutely isn't, and Cho'Gath, obviously, one of the better counters to Cho'Gath is the Trundle. It's not, I would say, nearly as bad as everyone makes it out to be, simply because Trundle, I mean, he takes away your armor, he takes away your resistances, and Cho'Gath, he's a guy that stacks health. You don't take that away from the Subjugate, so it's not the worst thing in the world for Lost from Light, if that is indeed where the Cho'Gath is going. Then again, Cho'Gath has been known to be very versatile. We've seen it in the mid lane, we've seen it even in the jungle. We got a couple of interesting new champions, particularly top laners, flex toward the jungle this previous patch, along with that Winter Rift that you talked about, Toki. So who knows, really, could be a flex, and it looks like it won't be flex toward that mid lane, as Ryze and Zeri are going to be joining Akuma, giving them a little bit more late game firepower for this comp.
Yeah, and Zeri was just buffed a little bit. It wasn't a massive buff for the most part, but in those team fights, if she's able to get those stacks on her Lightning Crash, instead of 0.5% move speed, it's 1% move speed. So that's going to add up real quick, and maybe we'll be able to see the Zeri of release, where she's just going to be zooming across the map without a single care in the world. As we do see the Nautilus locked in, which frankly is pretty good into Zeri. Throw a Death Charge, and that's always going to land.
Right, and now going into the second phase of bans, it looks like we're just going to be targeting the bot lanes for both of these teams. One is going for support, the other one going for AD carry. In the case of Dorado, you're a very short-range comp at the moment, and I do wonder if you want to play a little bit more into that, or if you want to stack some range onto your AD carry position, go something like an Ashe, maybe even go something like a Sivir to try and close that gap. They are going to go the latter here, which I think is really good. Not only does it pair well with the Nautilus, but it really empowers the Trundle and the Aurora to press forward, and also really invites an aggressive top laner to be drafted up here on 5. Akuma, speaking of aggressive top laner, is going to lock in that Camille, so getting some side lane pressure, which I think is going to work really well with the Ryze, you having that Realm Warp, and then you obviously having Camille, who will be really present around that part of the game. And with that Camille locked, Toki, it also does mean Cho'Gath will be in the jungle. So hey, top laners in the jungle this patch, we see it the first game of the best of 5s.
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting. I love the changes the Riot's been doing, just kind of really opening up the meta, especially in the jungle. As we see a Shen locked in on the top side for Dorado. Also not a champion we've seen too much of this split, so gonna be a ton of fun to see. But it's also a very interesting matchup, Shen versus Camille. I mean, these are two very strong side laners, but obviously Shen's gonna have a little bit of an easier time grouping up with the team later on. But at the same time, can you really group with the Camille's just consistently pushing you in?
Exactly, and I do think that Shen doesn't have really an issue, you know, falling behind an economy, because realistically, that stand united is why you're going to be picking this champion outside of the laning phase, right? Obviously, you'll have the trades with the Camille and being able to block some of those empowered kicks, but really, the idea here is that Lil Fizzy, they are going to be ulting USA JJ at all times. Basically, I feel like this is a comp really built around the Trundle, really built to get him to thrive toward that mid to late game, which is not the kind of point in the game that Trundle is known for. So if they can get that ball rolling as early as possible, give USA JJ the resources necessary to be a late game monster, they will have all the pieces to protect him from getting bursted down by this Akuma Twinblades comp.
Well, that being said, let's get our hot cocos and get onto this winner Summoner's Rift, because it is time for game 1 between Akuma Twinblades and Dorado Gaming Alpha. Looks like it's going to be a pretty standard start. We're not going to be seeing any of the AD carries roaming up quite yet. Everyone's just 5-point defense. And yeah, looks like it's just going to be a bit of a slow start here.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. You always got to be a little bit cautious about the level 1s, especially when a Nautilus is present in the game. That kind of goes for any hook champion in League of Legends. That's just been a universal rule where you have to be on your toes when one of those are locked in. We can actually see Decker stepping up here, get maybe a better trade into Fortnite than he is into him. I think he wanted to drop a ward in that Raptor pit, and he was indeed successful, so it will be a little bit of early information gained here by Dorado Gaming Alpha. They should, at the very least, detect that Fiery is starting on his top side.
Yeah, they'll have the information of the jungler there. Not going to have the information on the other side, but we are going to be seeing both of these teams probably playing it out a little bit slow, at least from the Cho'Gath perspective. It's going to be USA JJ, who we're going to be really looking for in terms of trying to make those plays. When you're on the Trundle, you are strong basically right from the get-go. So It's one of those champions we want to see play really aggro really soon.
We can already see the level 1 trade between the mid laners is really taking its toll on Fortnite. He's already shoved in under his tower on wave number 2, and I do think that once Kibo and Alistar hit level 2, which they just did, they will have a little bit more presence in the lane to trade and maybe get some of that prio.
They will land the dredge line, looking onto Radagon. Not going to be able to have any kill threat, but that is a massive trade in their favor, and that's through the Karma Shield.
It is, and that is just a lot of damage.
Oh, Flash! Not going to be able to get it, but Flash for Flash. Decker really putting on the hurt in the mid lane.
I feel like that is still good for Decker, even though he misses out on the kill. Rise, a champion that doesn't have the same mobility on the level of that Aurora. So I think Dakar is a little bit bummed that he had to burn his Flash this early. Maybe it gives Fiery an opening to look for something in that lane, but it also gives USA JJ the chance to do the same. And Trundle gonna have a lot bigger of a guarantee that something big will come of it because of how immobile Rise is now.
Yeah, I could definitely look towards that middle lane, and it looks like it is going to be slow pushing, unless Dakar does want to just throw it further into the turret, make it a little bit harder for Fortnite. As in the top side, some heavy trading as well. Lost from Light just sitting at around 300. The Shen is sitting at around 500. So there's a lot of opportunity for USA JJ to kind of look for a play, but Lost from Light just got to reset. Does not want anything to do with this.
The pillar also can interrupt the hook shot, so Lost from Light, I think, is a little too cocky.
Forward gonna come through, and USA JJ is now here, just gonna walk forward, get the pillar, get the chomp. One more autos needed, not even going to be. Red buff is gonna get first blood for Dorado Gaming.
Yep, the burn burns him down, and Lost from Light gets found. It's a first blood for Dorado Gaming Alpha. USA JJ reaping the rewards of that kill as well, and that is exactly where we want the gold to go, as we are going to get a small little replay. Honestly, I thought Lost from Light actually used the hook shot onto the wall, and it got hit by, I thought the animation was the hook shot, so I was a little concerned that Lost from Light actually would have gotten away from that.
Yeah, now looking for another gank towards the mid lane. There's no flash on Fortnite, looking for the phase rush, but it's not going to be enough, and it's going to be a kill for Dakar. USA JJ on the map right now is out over in the bot lane. Kibo might be in a bad spot, but Alistar just going to be auto-attacking Radagon, making sure they cannot come back, and now Summoner Heal going to be burned as well. A lot of fighting going on all across the map right now.
Yeah, but no junglers are in the area to really run interference. USA JJ has to back with the insane amount of gold that he claimed.
Kibo with another dredge line looking forward, and Radagon actually dashing in will force the flash away from Kibo as well. So no one going down, but a lot of summoners burned.
Yeah, Kibo also going to be forced to reset off of that. No health, no mana. I would imagine Alistair wants to try and shove in this wave before doing the exact same thing and just going back, not wanting to give Radagon and Melina the opportunity to get a return kill. Because as it stands, if you're the bot lane right now, your team is up 2-0 at 5 minutes. You really don't have to do much. All you have to do is not die. And Sivir, luckily, is an expert at that. One of the safest AD carries in the game. So I think Akuma, if they're looking for any bot side plays, they are going to have a really tough time, especially with that flash still being up for the Sivir.
Yeah, but they're pinging onto fire right now. Was spotted by the minions. Will be forced to flash. And with the flash, will be able to get away to safety. Really unlucky. Fortnite pulled the minions back, so they saw Fiery through there.
They're going to just go straight onto the dragon. I am actually heavily in support of this. Even though Decker doesn't have priority in the mid lane at the moment, the Aurora has level 6. Meanwhile, the Ryze is only level 5. That Between Worlds is just going to deal so much damage if a fight actually breaks out. And not to mention, I think this is great timing from Dorado Gaming Alpha because you're not dealing with the feast yet. Fiery without his ultimate doesn't give really a...
Oh, but now Hextech ultimatum on the top side. Lost from Light, looking for the all-in. But yeah, without mana, both are still sitting very low HP. There is the possibility of the flash shadow dash right now. I don't know if it'd have enough damage to take down Lost from Light, but looks like Shen does not want to find out.
You can also see that Fortnite is in the topside river, maybe looking to try and pull a fast one with the Ryze ultimate that he just managed to get off the most recent wave, but I won't be able to do that. But as I was saying, I mean, Dorado Gaming Alpha getting that dragon before Fiery gets ultimate guarantees that the smite fight isn't really going to be there from the Cho'Gath. That's something they're going to have to worry about a ton this game. It's just if it's a 50-50, there's like a 75% chance the Cho'Gath wins out on that as Kibo is canceling the back, but doesn't have Ignite. So I think Lost from Light is just fine, maybe slightly annoyed.
Yeah, and Lost from Light has had so many recalls canceled already this game. Just they're attacking the tempo. They're not even trying to kill Lost from Light. They got one kill on them, but that's really it. Everything else has just been consistently slowing down this Camille.
And now the Camille is going to be really sad because they are going to be getting back to the bot lane a lot later. And Lost from Light not having that teleport, neither does Lil Fizzy, but they do have the Stand United. So I feel like if there is a fight to be had around these grubs, Dorado Gaming Alpha clearly have the numbers advantage. And like we talked about, Shen is a champion who is willing to sack resources in order to get some of his more volatile matchups ahead. And I feel like this would definitely be a case scenario where you're more than willing to give up a wave or two to the Camille in order to, you know, get some kills and secure the grubs on the top side.
Have a play in the mid lane. Dakar trying to get away Between Worlds is going to go through, but with the flash, going to be forced out. And that could be an opportunity for another play, but at the same time, Fortnite used the flash as well to make that play happen. So both sides could look towards her. Now Fortnite gonna get chomped on by USA JJ. Fiery is here as well, but this is a Trotter that's really strong. And they're just gonna turn towards Fiery. But now Melania is here as well. Stand United coming out over top. And the Stand United's actually going to be canceled, so it is going to give the shield, not going to get the shot. And now Lightning Crash coming through. Radagon trying to run down Kibo, looking for one more shot, will be able to land it. And now it's just going to be USA JJ getting run down as well. And Radagon with the double kill so far and the shutdown could look to turn as well. Both Dakar here. Radagon's having a little bit of a tough time walking in. Gonna dash forward though, but Dakar's right here. Still trying to chase onto Alistair, but the kiting is so good. Barrier coming through Melania. Trying to get that extra shield up, but will be able to get a flash roll from Alistair, and that is going to be the turnaround kill. And it's 5-2 as Fiery, the first to go down, now back in the fight. But it looks like both sides just going to walk away now.
Fiery is picking toward the grubs. He wants to grab at least one with that beast before they have to exfiltrate, because USA JJ and Kibo, those two, they're in hot pursuit right now. USA JJ is actually going on to his red buff. I think he's going to immediately pivot off the moment he sees it, but these are gone. The first one was smited away, it was taken down. The second one was feasted, so Fiery actually secures the objective despite AKM losing the fight, Toki.
Yeah, they definitely lost the fight, but they did get two big kills where they want them onto Radagon. including the shutdown from USA JJ. So they're definitely still behind in gold, but they got the extra objective. That's going to buy a little bit of time for the feats of monster slaying, and they have the gold in the perfect spot. Their late game hyper carry Zeri.
Absolutely is. We're going to get one more look at this extended team fight. And yeah, I mean, Decker just kind of forced to get away from there. The Aurora's out of the fight, but does have the teleport. This is where I get a little bit confused. I actually figured that Kibo was going to reset, and then they were going to just try and regain control of the river from there, but instead they fight it 2v3. USA JJ with the Stand United that obviously gets canceled. I mean, this is what we want to see from the Trundle, right? Just running at them, unafraid, undeterred, unstoppable practically. But eventually he does get stopped. Was also kind of surprised that Radagon opted to overchase for the Nautilus kill instead of the Trundle. I felt like the target selection a little bit off there, but he does get them both anyway, right? And it manages to be Radagon maybe stepping up a little too far, not anticipating the barrier, and also not minding Decker's cooldown, so he does get taken down by this upcoming flash. So it was the Zeri getting a good amount of gold, but also the Sivir getting a good amount of gold. And I do think that your supporting cast for this game, getting that kill gold is really good, so that funnels further in to champions like the Trundle and the Aurora.
Yeah, and we're going to see a little bit of that gold comparison right now. And it's 600 gold in the top lane, about 800 gold in the jungle, all favoring Dorado Gaming. But it's the bot lane, the one place where Radagon is up by around 500 gold. So there is still one side of the map they could play for. They are definitely behind, but it's not an insurmountable lead quite yet. So they can get Radagon set up. They can definitely bring it back. Well, speaking of bringing it back, there found Melania depth charge over top, but Fiery able to buy a lot of space with the Rupture, but now they're going on a Fiery instead, and USA gonna take one down. Radagon trying to get away. Whoa. Will burn down to the red buff as well, and it's a double kill for USA JJ, and Melania gonna go down to Decker, and now it's a 3-0, and well, there goes your advantage lane.
And all the AoE just hits in the right spot for Dorado Gaming Alpha. I mean, you were in an enclosed corridor against a Sivir, and the Trundle Pillar made it so you had absolutely nowhere to go. Dorado Gaming Alpha pile on top of the Twinblades, and they shatter them. With that fight, they will claim the second dragon, so one more and they will get the feat of Dragon Slaying. I bet them not getting those grubs, Toki, is kind of kicking them, because I feel like we all figured they were going to get that topside objective after the fight that they won around it.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be a little bit upset about that one, but at the same time, the way the things are going, I have no doubt they will be able to get the feat of Monster Slaying anyway, because now Fiery just trying to run down Lil Fizzy. Another Rupture is going to land. But USA JJ is going to be here, and Fire, you went a little bit too far. Rupture will land, though, and that's a shutdown. That might be worth it.
I mean, that's worth it. That's worth it, absolutely, Toki. I shut down for just a regular kill, but that looked so illegal from the side of Fiery. That could have been really bad. It's now USA JJ maybe looking to make it a 1-for-2. Oh, that's dirty, Mr. Trundle. The pillar.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, USA JJ just so big. 7, 1, and 2 on the Trundle at 13 minutes. On his own, is averaging a kill every 2 minutes. That's an insane number. But now Kibo could be the one in the bad spot. Realmor gonna come through and just gonna flash over the wall, do a little trickaroo, and then walk right out of safety.
I mean, hey, he got 2 deep wards, so absolutely worth. If you're a support, you people wouldn't understand, as does lose that flash for that one, but now Fortnite maybe in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, will be forced to flash.
Absolutely worth it, by the way. It was the long con.
Yeah, Kibo just the mastermind, baiting them into trying to run him down to the bot side, as might be getting another fight, because they're looking towards USA JJ, and look at the damage coming up from Fire. Melania also in the area on the hunt, gonna get popped from Alistair, and they will be able to land the dredge line. Depth charge over top as well. Fortnite going to be their next target. It is 3 versus 3 for now, but the gold advantage on Dorado is so strong that they're able to just run straight through. And another dredge line onto Melania, make that a 3-0. And Dorado Gaming just running down Akuma.
Dorado Gaming are just demolishing Akuma, like you said, and now they're going to get themselves their first turret on the top side. 9, 1, and 3. USA JJ. I mean, this is what we wanted. right now we're going to be looking into the mid game with the turret plates dropping. Trundle is essentially immortal. You've got the Stand United, you've got the On the Hunt, you've got all of these resources that protect you from getting bursted down by Akuma, and you are going to be building into tank. We can already see the winged moon plate being built here by the Trundle for his second item. So it's just gonna get worse, it feels like, Toki. He's gonna keep getting tankier, and Akuma are gonna have to keep dealing with bigger and bigger shields from the Stand United. I mean, Shen's almost level 11.
Yeah, and you were talking about the dead man plate. It's actually going to be coming through already.
There we go.
USA JJ on 2 items at 50 minutes, 9-1-3. I mean, well, what are you doing to this at this point? I mean, this is a very strong fed Trundle. There's a Stand United to back him up. There's On the Hunt so they can actually run into you. I mean, you were talking about all the tools there for Alistair. I think all the tools are there for USA JJ.
Oh, I mean, Alistair's got the tools to be able to supply USA JJ. Absolutely. That On the Hunt is going to be so useful to help the Trundle close the gap onto some of these more mobile
damage coming out from Lil Fizzy. Fortnite's in the area, though, but it's just going to be a solo kill coming out.
I mean, he was trying to proxy farm the wave and got punished for it, so congratulations to him for that.
Flash forward, looking towards Fortnite. Will be able to land the dredge line and the depth charge in the back line. Make that a second kill going out for Lil Fizzy. Melania still trying to get away, but dredge line still going to be on cooldown, not going to be able to land. But in the backside, there is still a Decker trying to run down Melania, but full HP Karma with the Inspire. Probably not going to have the DPS to take down Melania. Will bring him down to half HP, but that's it.
But I mean, Melania being zoned off like that, look at how safe Radagon has to play. You were talking about, you know, what do Akuma do here in this situation? How do they deal with this Trundle? And I feel like the only real answer you can come up with has to do with that Zeri, right? But if this Zeri is constantly being zoned from not being able to even walk away from her own tier 2 tower, then that's just not a possibility, right? Melania gets completely cut off from their AD carry. Their AD carry can't really maneuver around the map to collect gold. You are slowly starving the one win condition for Akuma Twinblades here in game number 1 by just touching their support and making sure that they can't move.
Yeah, but we're seeing right now the lead is still continuing to grow. 7k gold up for Dorado. Already have 2 dragons, third one coming up in just 10 seconds. So this is very likely to be an early soul if the game is going to continue the way it has been so far. And considering that USA JJ is not even going to get contested on the dragon, it's going to be a very, very quick third Drake of the game. And when you have the Cho'Gath, you don't want that. You have Feast, you have one of the strongest mites in the game, but they're just having to give everything up.
And I mean, it's not only the Mountain Soul denied, it's the Mountain Soul claimed here for Dorado Gaming Alpha. I mean, look at the champions that are going to be able to utilize that extra little bit of defense. You've got Trundle, who's already tanky, Shen, who's already tanky, and the Nautilus, who's already tanky. It just feels so difficult to deal with this triple frontline on top of that buff.
Ultimatum onto Lil Fizzy. They have 2 members up top so far, another 2 on the way. They're looking for this kill. Hookshot gotta go wide, but the Feast is going to land, and just like that, Fiery gets a shutdown, and they might even be able to get this turret as well.
Yeah, I mean, Lost to Light almost dies in that attempt, so they will claim a tower off of it, but I feel like they are going to have to get immediately back to mid and bot because USA JJ is in the mid lane with that 1 grub buff as well as the Herald, so it isn't going to be without its trades, so that tier 2 is going to be falling, and I think because of that, Akuma are doing something I think is a really good move where they're sending some members toward the top side to maybe get a tier 2. I think that's good, especially because it is the Zeri getting more gold into her pocket.
Yeah, but in the bot side, Fortnite trying to play a little bit safe, trying to make sure USA cannot dive after, but it is going to be another tier 2 taken by Dorado, so even with the trade, they're still going to be up 1 turret.
And USA JJ actually hasn't backed since he got that Dead Man's Plate, so he's probably just going to back and get an entire other item at this point. All right, no, it's just going to be the Spectre's Cowl. So a little bit of magic resist coming in here for the Trundle. Again, champion's really not lacking for damage. You just make him tanky, combine with the Stand United. This guy is going to be that one TV show from Amazon that has the funny title card, Toki.
I definitely know what you're referencing, and I'm not pretending I have no idea.
Oh, I bet the chat is gonna cookie for that, bro. Chat, yeah, do your thing.
I get that pretty often there. Invincible. Oh, that one. Yeah, I really should watch that at some point. But instead, let's watch this play coming through as USA JJ going to be running through onto Fiery. Melania also in the area, though, keeping Fiery alive. And it looks like everyone is now grouped up, except for the top lane. It's going to be a 4v4. Lightning Crash going to come through, but Radagon not really able to land the auto point yet. Alistair trying to zone away Fortnite. Fortnite not going to be able to be on the edge of the realm orb. Will be stuck alone and will flash and die at the same time. Now the Sand United is going to be there coming in for Alistair. And they're running down Radagon. Melania, the only survivor in this fight. And it's going to be a 4-0 as did Lost from Light get soloed in the bot lane during this?
Yeah, Shen managed to get the solo kill.
And Lil Fizzy looking for Melania, wants the ace, one more auto. Go Lil Fizzy, go, and there it is. It's gonna be 420 into the clean ace for Dorado Gaming.
And Dorado Gaming, 20 minutes into the game, they are just demolishing this first match of the best of 5. They are saying, you know what? Series score doesn't matter, 5 and 2 doesn't matter, second place doesn't matter. We're Dorado, we've got the playoffs buff, and we're here to prove it. They will claim the Otacon. And now, with so much gold there, he's going to be going back, setting up for this bot side. Dragon's going to be up in a little less than 2 minutes, so they just need to carve out vision around this area, make it so that there's no steal possible from Fiery. And I feel like they should be golden if they weren't already.
And now Lost from Light will be able to pin the turn. Actually looking to turn back on a Little Fizzy. And now with the Hextech Ultimatum, we'll be able to get the kill as well. So that's a little bit of hope going towards Akuma Twinblades, but Dragon's in a minute and a half, so Little Fizzy will be back up for it.
I mean, they'll have numbers advantage around this part of the map. You can see USA JJ's on the top side. Decker is being forced to kind of clear this bot wave, so they're going to have the opportunity to get deep in this jungle and maybe look for some kind of a pick. Now Fortnite, though, maybe in trouble. USA JJ does have the ult, and he's just going to use it. There's no escape for the poor Rise.
No, trying to buy some space, trying to buy some time, but it's not going to happen. Yeah, at some point, it's better to go down quickly so you're able to come back for the Dragon. So, good play for Fortnite. And in a way, it actually might have been better for USA to just kind of let him live a bit longer.
Fortnite dancing, though, before he gets taken down. That's just the cherry on top. He knew he was cooked. And yeah, I mean, death tempo is a thing, so he will actually be up by the time this dragon spawns in about 30 seconds. He also has teleport, so will be able to be present if there is a fight. But I'm having my doubts if there's actually going to be a scuffle here between AKM and Dorado Gaming Alpha. I mean, Dorado Gaming Alpha, these guys are, you know, 6,000-7,000 gold. Haha, I said the thing. Gold ahead. And it just feels like a tough scenario to imagine them actually being able to fight this on even ground. Is, yeah, I mean, Lost from Light, the tower did more damage than Shen did in this fight. I mean, Tower should claim that kill. What?
Yeah, I mean, it was just the last hit. It's one of those situations. Someone does 90% of the damage for you.
Bro, yeah.
But yeah, the rest of the fight is just history. As we're seeing in the picture-in-picture, they're finding Lil Fizzy again, and they're gonna try to get away, but there is all 5 members. But in the meanwhile, they will be taking this Mountain Soul. So even with Lil Fizzy going down, probably not the big loss, but Lil Fizzy might be trading, but it is gonna be a kill going over to Fortnite. As the rest of Dorado Gaming, they're starting to push through mid lane and through bot lane. They need to get back to defend their base.
Yeah, they absolutely do. They cannot push this top lane. But they're actually going to try. As I say that, they cancel the backs, and they are going to be leaving their bot lane and their mid lane to the defense of their 3.
They're able to find USA JJ Hextech Ultimatum as well, but look at the extra healing coming through. USA JJ it's still surviving, just able to back away as now Dakar with the Between Worlds will be able to take down Fiery, and now going through the rest of the team. Elena going to be the first to go down. Lost from Light will be forced to use the hook shot. There's a bit of a base race happening, but right now I know which side I favor. Tier 3 just going down now on the top side, but they're already onto the Tier 4 turrets in the bot lane. Fortnite Tier Lost from Light is here, and they're looking to take down Kimo. They will be able to take one, but they only have 1 turret left alive. And now Lil Fizzy going to be joining in with the TP. Looking from Lost from Light. Won't be able to get the kill right away. There's no buying time, but Fortnite's going to be going down in the meanwhile. And they're just trying to run down the turrets. Radagon doing everything he can to just get as much DPS out over top. USA JD will be going down. It's so low. The Nexus is low, but so is Lil Fizzy, and they're going to survive. They will be able to get the 4 kills, and they are going to be able to stay alive in game 1.
30 seconds until the death timers come up, and I mean, the Baron is going to be up in about 30 seconds. Alistair has to run for the hills. Lost from Light is in hot pursuit.
Yeah, looking towards Alistair. But it's going to be difficult. The flash has already been burned super low, but got a hook shot forward, looking for more damage. Just needs a little bit more, but won't be able to get it. There's a bit of a burn, but Alistair will survive.
Alistair getting out there. The sliver of HP. Kibo has to be really careful. He is alone in a part of the map that is no longer his. Fiery just going to take some chickens. He's going to munch on them. Bet that's tastes like KFC as the man going to be walking back to mid. So they do surrender control of the topside river, but I feel like the most important thing, Toki, they hold on to their base. They hold on to game number 1. That Nexus did not explode. It did not get taken down. And AKM have a brief little bit of light maybe in this game.
Yeah, and this is the new modern League of Legends. Those turrets are eventually going to respawn if they're able to hold their base. So there isn't even always going to be that threat of the back door. As now Fiery and Melania, they're kind of playing with fire there because I feel at any point if Kibo lands a good hook, that would just be it. But right now, both sides still trying to group, looking towards the Baron. It is up, and a bit of a death bridge getting set up by Dorado.
And this is the difficult part for Akuma. They have to face check. They have to try and find some way into this pit, but they have to do it so that they don't get dredge lines like you said, Toki. They're just going to be looking for the wave. It looks like Dorado getting out
on the hunt. Say JJ.
What?
No way.
No. Don't do this.
It's 26 minutes on the dot. This might be Doombug. Are you? Oh no.
No, don't tell me. Come on.
We really need something on our soundboard, like just a wah wah.
Please. All right. I think that dredge line is being thrown Fiery's way. That's a dredge line animation, right?
Yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to get back into this, but if that dredge line lands though, I think that might just be it.
I mean, yeah, because USA JJ's, he's going to subjugate him. He's going to have no resistances. And I mean, you could see Fortnite is cut off entirely. So I don't think Radagon and Melania are going to sacrifice their own conditions to try and save their jungler. So I don't know.
Oh, right. And apparently, yep, Dorado Gaming Alpha. They did get through.
That sucks.
I mean, with the setup there, I think we all knew in our hearts that was going to be the victory, but it is a huge shame we didn't get to watch it happen because Dorado Gaming, they very much deserved this victory this time around. They played incredibly well. I mean, that gold graph on its own, that basically just says the whole story.
It's very, it's all, it makes it look like instead of seeing the rise from like Dorado's gold where it goes like up and up and up, we're just seeing Akuma Twinblades' gold go down and down and down and down and down. So it's like the game is saying us, yeah, Dorado Gaming Alpha, they won. But more importantly, Akuma Twinblades, they lost. They're trying to confirm who didn't win the game more so than who did. But I absolutely feel like this was a massive victory for Dorado Gaming Alpha, all things considered. They played this game clean, great execution, and exactly how we said this comp should be played around the Trundle, giving him gold, setting up the Stand United, setting up the On the Hunts around him, and making sure that when he ran into the fights, he had his backup, he was immortal, and he could go where he pleased. That's not Trundle's line, but I think he can borrow it for game number 1, Toki.
Yeah, definitely deserved it with that level of play, but well, that being said, it is time we go over to a short break, but when we come back, we're going to be heading right into game number 2. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon.
That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right?
All right, welcome back, everyone. It is time for game 2 between Akuma Twinblades and Dorado Gaming Alpha. And Dorado Gaming, a little bit of a stomp in game 1.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, Dorado, sticking to their game plan, playing around the Trundle, making sure USA JJ had all the resources that he needed to be a carry into the mid to late game on that pick. So really good stuff coming out from them. And it felt like they were just more proactive throughout game number 1. Akuma Twinblades obviously had some moments, particularly, fights around Radagon in the earlier phases of the game where they looked like they could, create a win condition and come back into the game. But I think their biggest conceit, something that they really need to work on here for game number 2, if they want to tie up the score in this best of 5 to 1-1, is they need to get Radagon further around the map, right? Make sure that your carry is involved in more stuff. Make sure that they have more resources. Make sure that they are, just more present around a lot of these fights that decide the game, because it really felt like Radagon, whenever he was around and was given the, opportunity to flourish in the fights, those were the few fights that they actually won. So I want to see them try and recreate that on a broader scale going to game number 2 here, and that will give us a series. I am almost certain of it, Toki.
Yeah, I mean, Akuma definitely didn't look like their usual selves in that first game. I mean, I think we've had them on broadcast twice before this.
Think so.
And they've looked pretty strong every single time we've seen them. Even when they lose, they're always super competitive. So the fact that Dorado Gaming Alpha was able to make them look like that is a very big statement to make. And I think you're right. I think they just need to get Radagon more involved. They had the Zeri 2-0 early and then only really got into one fight, which was a pretty bad fight to take. Just behind the Dragon Pit. And I think after that, they were just so behind. Even when they got Radagon in the fights, it was a bit too late. But maybe they'll be able to make more use of the AD carry this time around.
And even getting neutrals around the map felt a little bit dicey. Really, I think the big objective that they got all throughout game number 1 were those grubs. And honestly, I feel like that was more of a conceit to Dorado Gaming Alpha not being as proactive as they could have been to get back to that objective. More so that than Akuma being, the team that actually got themselves the positioning and the posturing around that top. It felt more like a steal rather than a claim, if that makes sense. Simply because Dorado Gaming Alpha won that fight and should have been able to get those grubs because of it, but they were just a little too late to the pit. That really only felt like Akuma Twinblades' one achievement as far as the neutrals went. So I think around neutrals, they also have to be a little bit more proactive, a little bit more careful, and just more coordinated around those fights, because I think on top of, not giving those kills over to Radagon, a big death of that game for them was them just not being able to get those neutrals, not being able to keep up in that department. We see so many games at around this level where teams might not be ahead in kills, might not be ahead in gold, but they threaten the soul win condition. They've got that in their back pocket, and if one fight goes well, they get themselves soul point, and it feels like it's more even than it should be. I think if we can see Akuma Twinblades even just be proactive around those, we will have a closer game here the second time around.
Yeah, for sure. And especially being on the neutrals, because of the Cho'Gath, it's even more of a shame that they weren't able to get anything for themselves. They had the feast. I mean, even Nunu can't outsmite a Cho'Gath, which is saying quite a bit. Missing that champion in competitive, not gonna lie, but I digress, because I would love to see them, just like you said, play for the objectives, play around the AD carry, because that's the Akuma Twinblades that we've seen in the past succeed. Now, at the same time, we got to talk about Dorado too, because they very much deserve that win. And I think the reason we're not talking about them as much is because there's really not much to say except sing their praises about the way they played that game. Beyond giving those 2 grubs away, which even then, it wasn't even the full 3 grubs. It was just 2 of them that were able to get stolen by a Cho'Gath. I think most other champions wouldn't even have been able to get that.
No, probably not. You're absolutely right. And I do think one really big underrated point for Dorado Gaming Alpha in that first game was definitely Lil Fizzy on the Shen. Even though Lil Fizzy didn't have a lot of stand uniteds where he actually teleported to the fight and was present around them, that shield did way more work than it had any right to, right? We saw that happen in the fight where they ended up getting, or where Akuma Twinblades ended up getting grubs. The shield kept USA JJ alive a lot longer than he had any more merit to be alive for. And then it did the same thing around that last fight where we saw the big team fight wipe from Dorado Gaming Alpha, keeping USA JJ alive with that shield. Bro didn't even have to be a part of the fight. He just had to give his jungler resources in order to be a monster, and that is exactly what he did. So big shout out to him. And going into game number 2, I do wonder if we're going to be seeing the ball passed to any other lane. I would imagine for Akuma Twinblades, we'll probably be seeing that bot lane be the win condition again, but Dorado Gaming Alpha have been known to, put multiple of their players in the driver's seat, flex around that carry position when it comes down to it.
Yeah, but either way, the draft has now begun, and we're seeing a lot of focus towards that top side of the map right now. We're seeing the Aatrox, the Renekton, and best if you're even Poppy to some degree. But first pick just gonna be the Orianna. Very safe blind pick. We talk about this, I think, most series that we cast together. Just if you want something safe, you want something that's gonna be good in a game, just pick Orianna. You'll make it work.
It always seems like a safe bet, and Hui, obviously a good counter to leverage that range. Now I think you're probably going to take away a jungler that pairs well with the Orianna. Jarvan does come to mind. Wukong is another champion, and they're actually not going to snag any of those away. They're just going to lock down their engage in the support role for Melania, so she will be piloting the Rakan here in game number 2. This also threatens the Xayah, so I wonder if Dorado Gaming Alpha are going to say, we don't want to have that 2v2 pairing to deal with. We saw what Radagon was capable of in the 2v2 with, bot laners that didn't have the level of synergy as Xayah Rakan. Let's not give them Xayah Rakan.
Yeah, but it looks like they're kind of daring them to lock it in third anyway, because they locked in the Nico for themselves, going to be going to support, and you're talking about the J4 and the Wukong, and it is going to be the Wukong going over to Dorado, but looks like Xayah not going to be taken either way. It is going to be the Gwen locked in decently early for Akuma.
Honestly, we saw Fiery go on the Cho'Gath jungle, so it would not be out of the bounds of possibility here in game number 2 to see Gwen go into the jungle role either. I also think Gwen is a decent counter into the Wukong. It's really hard for him to get on top of her with that Hollowed Mist being active. And also, Stone Skin gives you armor, doesn't give you magic resist, and Gwen is a magic damage champion. So I think that there are certainly angles where this Gwen jungle can fit, but more often than not, when we see this pickup here, Toki, it is kind of a double-edged sword where you farm up, you look for some kind of a play, and then you think you're actually stronger than you are. You end up getting blown up and kind of, slowly crawl away from the game, or you become an absolute monster. So one of those two is going to happen to AKM. They're probably hoping for the former, but now AKM going into the second phase, 480 carries, 380 carries, taken away. Rek'Sai going to be picked up on 4 here, still keeping that flex between top and jungle very alive.
Yeah, very interesting to see the Rek'Sai. I don't even know if I've ever cast a Rek'Sai game, if I can be honest with you. This might genuinely be my first time seeing it. But over on the opposite side, it is going to be the Ashe and the Gragas locked in for Dorado Gaming. So they're going to have a lot of options in teamfights. A little bit of anti-synergy potentially, but they're definitely going to have options.
And Jhin going to be the final lock-in here for Radagon. I don't know if I'm fully in support of that. I mean, Radagon was the big boy for AKM in game number 1, was certainly the ace, if any of you know your op.gg lingo, for game number 1. I feel like sticking him on Jhin against a bunch of tools that, like you said, Toki, are very versatile in these team fights could be really detrimental for him, considering Jhin just doesn't have any of the mobility to get away from those various tools. So if I'm looking at AKM in terms of win condition, as it is going to be the Rek'Sai jungle, honestly, I'm looking at the top side more than the bot lane here in this game. I think Fortnite and Lost from Light, they're going to have to be the scaling win conditions here for Akuma, and then Rek'Sai is going to be the guy having to shoulder that early game burden, make that proactive play, and he is in a matchup where he is capable of doing that. Wukong probably not going to run a ton of interference pre-6 until he gets that Cyclone, so it really is just a question of how many opportunities can Fiery find before this Wukong comes online with his ultimate and his items, and particularly before Dorado Gaming Alpha can team fight, because I feel like once they group up as a unit, AKM, they're just outmatched in the 5v5s, frankly.
Yeah, 5-5s are going to be really difficult for them, but I definitely agree with your point. I think they are going to be trying to play for the top side, and I think that's why they wanted to lock in Jhin, because as an AD carry, it's one of the more supportive marksmen that you can lock in for your team. But it is time to get on to the Rift with game number 2 of this best of 5. So we're going to be seeing at least 3 games here. And it is going to be Dorado Gaming on the blue side, currently up 1-0 over Akuma Twinblades on the red side. It is going to be the Gragas Gwen in the top side.
Well, Fizzy, they're just having a little bit of fun here in the 1v1. As Gragas going to drink some beer and heal on up. USA JJ, though, I don't think they get a kill on this. They're just trying to annoy the Gwen.
Yeah, when in doubt, annoy the Gwen. But I think, if anything, that trade goes slightly for Lil Fizzy. Get the mana flow band stack, you know. Gotta get whatever you can early on. Is now Fiery. Was trying to get a ward, did get it down onto the blue buff, but will take a little bit of damage on the way out as well. A little bit more from Kivo, but should have time to reset. But unfortunately, that does give the priority over to Dorado Gaming to place their own ward on the Raptors.
Hey man, Decker just got a mana flow band as well, so double worth it probably for the Dorado Gaming Alpha solo laners, as we are going to be seeing both junglers start on the top side and end bot lane, which, you know, we highlighted that it would probably be a top side win con here for AKM. Maybe Fiery's probably anticipating that, you know, I want to wait until all of my laners are level 3. I want to wait to see how the lanes shake out before committing to a gank, because it is almost certainly going to be Kibo and Alistair pushing in this bot lane. I think that is a pretty self-assured guarantee. So if Rek'Sai wants to be, you know, ganking a lane that is being pushed into, I think bot lane is actually his safest bet.
Yeah, definitely. But at the same time, it is an Ashe and Nico. If the gank goes wrong, they are very good at the turnaround afterwards. But it looks like the level 1 or level 2 is actually going to be their first for Akuma Twinblade. So Alistair and Kibo going to be pushed in just a little bit. I don't think they're too concerned. They'll still be able to get their last hits for themselves. As on the top side, Lost from Light, definitely the one with the extra prio, but a lot of skill shots landing onto Alistair, and that's going to be Summoner Heal forced out from Kibo. So very well started for Akuma Twinblades.
But you can already see a little bit of that turnaround that you mentioned. I mean, Alistair is just dancing around looking for a little bit of trade back with the Q activated, but won't be able to find too much. Still, though, both bot laners around, you know, 50-ish% HP. Alistair, obviously a little bit less than that. Very low on the Ashe, as Fiery actually went for a recall clear. So he went for his top side, backed, got a longsword, and will be resuming his clear on the bot side after buying that item. This probably is him anticipating a 3v3 on this part of the map, or at least a scuffle on the crab, so he gets that item advantage ahead of time.
Yeah, I mean, it might be the difference maker. 10 AD definitely adds up over the course of a fight.
It does.
And it is going to be USA JJ finishing out on that red buff. So if the fight's going to come anywhere, it's going to come over that bot lane scuttle or just in that bot lane in general. But it is going to be scattered out right now. The Scribe's Boom going to get hit by USA JJ and actually pinging onto the blue buff. But it looks like it's just going to be the scuttle taken by USA JJ, and everything we've hyped up isn't going to be happening. But Fortnite will land the fear just in time. Could have definitely been in lethal otherwise.
Oh, Gragas as well, getting really low, having to expend that flash. Lil Fizzy, they're gonna be resetting themselves. As this actually is a really good start for USA JJ, all things considered. I mean, Wukong not really having too much action in the early game, but going to be able to get that double crab.
And one extra auto Decker gonna get first blood for Dorado Gaming, as once again they take an early lead.
And Decker with the flash. This time he's actually able to complete the kill. Deja vu to last game where, you know, he did go for the flash lethal onto the Aurora, but just wasn't able to find it. As USA JJ, with that in mind, is actually going to take the tier 2 Raptors on top of the crab, Toki, and then should be able to get back to his own respawn camp. So this Wukong is going to be like level 5 by basically 5 minutes. That is an absolutely massive spike for him and a really accelerated game pace for a champion who we said really was desperate for that level 6.
Yeah, now there's going to be a decent bit of trading on to Fiery, and Lil Fizz going to come forward. One more auto, fail flash over the wall, and it's 2-0 Dorado.
Fail tunnel, fail flash, Fiery. That's a tilter as he goes down. And I feel like, where do you even go now? Because you've got your your Krugs, but they're so far out of the way. You have to go to your bot side, but those camps aren't spawning for a little bit either. Your tempo has been really offset here as this Rek'Sai, and again, this is a champion that really wants to thrive in the early game. They have been doing the opposite of that so far, Toki. Their game has been totally messed up now.
Yeah, but one thing, just like we said in the last game, that they do have going for them on the side of Akuma Twinblades is their bottom lane is playing ridiculously well. I mean, we're seeing the HP bars right now between Radagon and Alistar. Alistar has already recalled once. So this is Alistar coming back into lane and already getting taken down that low. So again, if they play towards Radagon, maybe they can get a little bit of a snowball happening. Lost from Light still winning in the 1v1 as we're seeing the snip there. Though a Needlework going to be coming through as well. Flash forward from the explosive cast. Not going to be enough for now. Needs just a little bit more, but I guess that was the caster curse. Lil Fizz is going to be able to turn it around and get the Feet of Warfare.
Lil Fizzy, they absolutely dominate in the 1v1, singing Bomba all the way, sipping their hot cocoa. Now Fortnite, no flash.
Yep, Fortnite just going to be going down their bonk on the head. USA JJ going to get the 4th kill of the game, and all of a sudden it's a 2K gold lead.
Irie, he's onto the dragon. This is really risky, though. They're going to spot Melania. She'll be in the river, so this might bait them to walk on down. If they notice this, they can easily fight for it and maybe steal it. They're going to spot it out. Oh, boy.
800 HP and will get taken down by Radagon with a deadly flourish. And Melania, the only one left in danger. If they can back away, this would be a very nice deal for themselves, and they will be able to get it. So it is just going to be the dragon stolen for Akuma, but I think that's just a consolation prize.
It's a little bit of a robbery in broad daylight for Akuma. They're probably breathing a sigh of relief that they managed to get that one, because it could have very easily been stolen if USA JJ and Decker had just moved to the river a couple of seconds quicker. But nonetheless, still feels like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound at this point, as Dorado Gaming Alpha still 2,000 gold ahead, still have a super accelerated Wukong. And this comp, we said that they were going to be weak pre-level 6 and not, you know, super efficient when they weren't able to group on up as 5. They're doing just that. They are strong at the moment, so imagine how gruesome it is to face this comp when they actually do form as a unit, specifically around these grubs in about 15 seconds.
Yeah, that's going to be the real question mark for Akuma Twinblades. What are they going to do into this kind of wombo combo draft coming out of Dorado?
Yeah.
As now Lost from Light, not even able to get lane prio anymore. Interestingly enough, did go Cull on the Gwen. Not a very common item that we see, but makes sense here. Just wants to scale up as quickly as possible, but Fiery starting onto the grubs, but USA JJ is already here, going to be spotting it out. It will be the smite going over to Fiery. So at the very least, again, we'll be able to take down one, but now Cyclone coming out from USA JJ. Lil Fizzy also in the area, trying to get to the tunnel, but won't be able to get there in time. Lil Fizzy on a killing spree, going to get that kill.
I would say there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but it's just a tunnel. So it will be a kill for Dorado Gaming Alpha, and only one of the grubs went Fiery's way, so it is going to be that topside objective. The credit claimed here for Dorado Gaming Alpha as well. As, you know, we highlight USA JJ and his accelerated game state on the Wukong, but we haven't really mentioned Lil Fizzy. They are 3-0. 8.5 minutes into the game, now 9 minutes into the game. So this Gragas is going to be a real pain. And like we talked about, for Radagon specifically, this Jhin who's immobile, he's just going to get bombed, my friends.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a Gragas that is building a lot of AP early on. So this Gragas is going to hurt. It's not just the tanky bruiser Gragas that we have seen in the meta in the past. This is going to be a big mage burst. And that's going to be scary, not just for Radagon, it's going to be scary for Fortnite, even Fire at this point, just because of how behind he is. As now Radagon and Melania getting jumped a little bit. Pop Blossom flash forward, going to be able to find its way onto Melania, but it's just going to be flash for flash. Radagon going to be forced to burn that as well to get out of the ult.
It's Akibo's on the bot side, but I think he's spotted out by a ward, so Dorado Gaming Alpha, their bot lane has an idea that the Rek'Sai is in the area, should have an idea that the Rek'Sai is in the area. You can see they're playing a little bit further back because of that fact. This wave in a neutral spot right now, so I do wonder if USA JJ is going to be, you know, called over to maybe run interference here.
Call quickness as well into the grand entrance. They have the knockup, and Kibo gonna be taken down. First kill of the game going over to Akuma.
I mean, that flash from Fiery felt like overkill, but they did not want to give that Nico the chance to get away. And honestly, I respect it. So they do get another kill. It is going to be Fiery's first of the game and AKM's first of the game.
Cristolero gonna go wide, but now Fiery looking for another play in the bot side, looking towards Alistair. And instead, they're just going to root up USA JJ. It is going to be 3 versus 3 at TP in the backline from Deckard. As Alistair forced to flash away from Fiery, but with the Frost Arrow, is going to be able to get the kill. And now Melania behind enemy lines, but won't be there for long, as Kiba will get that kill on Melania as well.
And USA JJ playing support for his AD carry, assuring him that Fiery won't be able to take him down. It's the 1 kill for AKM, but they get traded back as 2 of their members are lost.
I need to work in the top side.
Oh my.
Lil Fizzy super low, but that's going to be a tilt here as well. So many plays have been so close as Fortnite goes down in the mid lane as well. Another kill for Dakar. Looks like a nice gank from Kibo.
You can see that Fiery is on the top side as well, dragging up in about 20 seconds with that kill in mid. Kibo should have the opportunity to set some vision down ahead of this dragon, make it really difficult for AKM to walk into the pit. And I mean, this is exactly what we said happened in game number 1, right? Dorado Gaming Alpha, they were just first to the objective, first to lay down that vision, make AKM face check into them, and then every time they are there to punish. It feels like this game is more or less the same as the early game from that first match. I think AKM, if they want to turn it around, they really have to start playing around this top side. We've seen them, be pretty present in the bot side, but again, like we talked about in the draft, Jhin is not your win condition this game.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those situations where they're just trying to make plays wherever they can. It's not even about playing for your win condition. Is now in the bot lane. Pop Blossom will find Fiery. Is now Alistair just going to be hitting away with those frost shots, as the dragon is going to be going down to USA JJ as well. No one going down in that fight. Might not be the worst, but Fortnite TP'd in the backline. Gonna have the Spiraling Despair over top. Is it gonna be enough? Alistair is gonna survive, as Melania gonna be going down. Fire gonna go down. And now Fortnite all alone behind enemy lines again. Will land the Triangle Barbs, and that's gonna be a triple kill for USA JJ.
USA JJ wants more though. That Cyclone is coming off a cooldown, and Radagon is without flash, so this Jhin has to leave. He has to exit the performance in disgrace. The tomatoes are flying, the crowd is laughing, and Dorado Gaming, these guys are jolly on the winter map as Lil Fizzy gets another solo kill.
I mean, I don't even know what to say at this point. A 6K gold lead at 13 minutes. Dorado Gaming making Akuma just look kind of like a weak team. And we know they're not, so this is just really emphasizing the stomp that is happening before our eyes right now. I mean, look at this gold right now. Almost 2K in the top side. Probably will be after these plates. 1,600 in the jungle, 1,600 mid. I mean, the bot lane is the only place where it's even relatively even, but Alistair even there has a 500 gold lead. I mean, the fact that 500 gold lead is considered relatively even at this point just says it all.
Yeah, it really is. And honestly, for Akuma, I feel like they do have scaling, but like we talked about in the draft, they don't have the team fight prowess.
But they're not done playing. They're looking for something. Alistair are going to be caught out. Do they have the damage? It will be going, but it's Melania that takes the shutdown. And now Lil Fizzy is going to be here. Oh, that is so sad.
Yeah, that gives like shades of Biofrost on TSM with the 06 run, stealing the shutdown on Thresh. That is, that certainly is a feels bad, man, for Akuma. Their support getting a super important kill. As now, speaking of kill, there might be one on the top side. Nope. All right, Gwen is safe for now.
Yeah, for now. And there is Fiery starting to roam up to the top side, but looking at the levels, you brought this up early on when USA JJ was just able to continuously outfarm Fiery. Level 10 to level 8. This Rek'Sai is the same level as the bot lane, and that's not where you want to be as a jungler. Instead, they could be looking towards Kimo, but it's actually just going to be a Pop Blossom, and they're just going to take down Melania again, and Alistair going to get that kill. And that was with the reset bounty as well, so that's going to be the full 300.
Yeah, Melania used their grand entrance. She tried to get away, but unfortunately did get taken down. And honestly, I feel like Dorado Gaming Alpha, they are outpacing the game, right? I mean, off this kill, you think, oh, they can get, a Herald. Herald is enough for another 5 minutes. So it's literally a waiting game for Dorado to wait for these objectives to spawn before they inevitably take them. And that does create, maybe some time for Akuma to come back into this game. But as it stands, Dorado Gaming Alpha are just, they're eating it all. They're leaving no crumbs here for game number 2. This feels somehow worse than the first game.
I think it feels that way just because it is. I think they have had a bit more of a stomp. The fights were a lot closer. Yes, the score was still more or less similar. As now Dakar gonna be jumped in the bot lane. Will be able to get the first kill. Now Spiraling Despair gonna be gone golden. And this is what I mean. Every time they almost find a play for themselves, it just goes horrendously wrong.
It really does. Sticker with a really good...
Obama gonna get flashed away, lost from light, not gonna be able to land the last needlework, still looking for something. Yeah, Lil Fizzy can definitely turn this around, but just gonna back away. No reason to risk anything right now on the side of Dorado. And 4-0, 4-0, 3-0, 3-1. I mean, this is the score you want as all your players, really.
Yeah, I mean, Decker also getting a kill on to Fortnite. This game feeling so dire. 9,000 gold lead here, 16 minutes into the game. Looking very likely that we will move to series point here. And around an hour into the broadcast, hour and a half-ish into the broadcast, which is not something that we say every day, Toki.
No, definitely not. Especially when we have two teams of this caliber. I mean,
yeah.
I think this is going to be one of those games where, as a play-by-play caster, I will embarrass myself just because of the speed of play. As actually grand entrance from Melania, but it is going to be mostly on to the clone. But what I was going to say is, you see a team fight, it's a massive team fight, and then they're going to go get the Baron, and you look at the clock, and the Otacon hasn't even spawned yet.
Yeah, Otacon not up for, 9 minutes, or 3 minutes-ish, as,
oh, frog.
Hey, look, he's got a little hat.
Oh, does Gromp get a hat on this map?
Gromp is up on the top side. Can we get a check on that? Remove the vision?
Yeah, we need to see what Gromp is up to.
Yeah, we're going on a trip in our favorite rocket ship. Let's go. Does he have a hat or not?
Place your bets in the chat.
Are we able to toggle fog?
Oh, there's no hat.
Missed opportunity. All right, we're back to live. Unpaused.
You know what I would love to see, though? Where the hat doesn't change size. So, like, that small hat that they had on the Little Frog is going to be exactly what's on the Gromp.
That you're cooking, Toki, as Dorado Gaming are going to continue to cook. Hey, look, it's Froggy Cam. Let's go.
Yeah, some streamers have the little cat cam. Here on Titan, we have our frog cam. Look at the little guy. Look, we don't need to see the stomp that is Dorado Gaming winning out right now. Look at this happy little frog.
Honestly,
I'm just completely ready for the holidays.
If this was like a streamer's webcam, you grow your fan base by like 10 viewers at the very least. Decker is gonna ult Fiery, force him away from the Gromp. Says, that's my Gromp. He doesn't have a hat, but he does have a life.
Yeah, as Enchanted Crystallero has been used in that mid lane just to zone Radagon off of this wave and off this mid tier 1, but now the top side, Decker starting to get decently low, and actually with the snip, it is going to be Fire getting the kill. With Fury of the Rek'Sai's now, Kibo trying to get away, will be able to flash out, and now USA JJ is here with the cycle, and Lost from Light's going to be the first to go down, and it's just Fiery and Melania versus Kibo and USA JJ. Fiery almost going down, and with the Grand Ezra just trying to buy as much time as possible, but Kibo will be able to land with the Blooming Burst, and one more bonk, and USA JJ going to be dominating on the Wukong.
USA JJ saving his support, making sure that Kibo doesn't go down. Saving Private Kibo as Alistair just casually gets a kill off camera. That's like the third off-cam kill we've had this game. Just goes to show how dominant Dorado are here. But here's a kill on the cam.
Yeah, we're going to have Lil Fizzy fighting with Fortnite. Baba actually going to let Fortnite have a little bit extra space. Might even be able to get away, but... yeah, it's so hard to catch all these kills because these are mostly just solo kills, 1v1s, 2v2s. They're supposed to be even, but Dorado's making them look a little bit advantage for themselves.
I mean, Dorado have over a kill a minute. Like, there's more kills for Dorado than there are minutes in this damn game. And it feels like that trend might legitimately continue with how bloodthirsty they have been here on the second game. Dragon not going to be up for another 3 minutes. Otacon spawning in a little less than a minute on that bot side. You can already see that Akuma are actually first to the river. Both Fiery and Melania are, you know, patrolling that area, trying to look for anyone who face checks into this section of the map. But honestly, I feel like it doesn't matter if they face check. They're too tanky. You don't have the damage. I mean, this Rek'Sai only has one item almost 20 minutes into the game. That is not enough to burst down anyone on Dorado Gaming Alpha.
Yeah, definitely not. They could look for plays, but at this point, they'll need many number. But Tango Barbs and Enchanted Crystal Arrow, they're just dumping everything onto Fiery. But with the ultimate Fiery, actually going to be able to get the shutdown on Akuma Cyclone in the backline. But they're able to get 2 right now, and it's going to be a 2-0 for Akuma. They're finally able to get a fight in their hands.
Health bars are low, so they might have to go back, but they can legitimately reset and make their way toward that bot side river. The Otacon has spawned. USA JJ, he's down for another 20 seconds. The question is, they used all of their ultimates. They expended a lot of those key summoner spells. Can they legitimately contest this objective? And I feel like looking at their body language, the answer seems like a resounding no. So more than comfortable to give up that Otacon despite all of this, but it really just paints a picture where you get 2 kills. One of them is the jungler, and you're not immediately capable of 3v5 ripping that Otacon.
I mean, Lil Fizzy is alive, and I think Lil Fizzy on their own might be enough to dissuade Akuma from going for that Otacon. That's how scary this Gragas is right now. Decker and Alistair, they're both up as well. I mean, all the carries, all the damage is there for Dorado. And with the help of the Otacon, I genuinely think that 3 versus 5 might be not even an even fight, but favored on the side of Dorado if Akuma are the ones that pull it.
Kind of agree with you, but I feel like it's just the fact that they didn't even try. Like, they know how hooked a fight 3v5 would be, and that is a very scary idea. As while we wait for this pause, hey, let's get some more Froggy Cam in the corner.
Okay, now, yeah, and we're even seeing the little, he's even turning for the camera. Hey, little guy. Oh, never mind.
What's up, bro?
I scared him off.
We can see the teddy bear too.
Yeah. Okay, now I'm wondering, is this teddy bear, was that a gift for the frog, or is this a little Santa frog that's going to be giving gifts left and right? This one's turning back and forth a lot.
Yeah, he's looking around like there are people on both sides. Like, it's like there's 2 cameras on him and he doesn't know which one to look at, you know?
Yeah, they're saying, look at camera 1, look at camera 1. Is it this one? Which one's camera 1?
Yeah, camera A, camera B. You don't know which one it is. We are, in fact, looking at camera C, the Summoner's Rift Cam. C stands for, what does it stand for? That means pause. Cease.
Cease cam.
Yes, the cease cam. As the cease cam is no longer ceasing, it is actually going, and Dorado Gaming Alpha are also going. They have all respawned and are ready to just keep dominating this game. They are still so far up.
They are going to be looking for a play on the backside, though. They found Alistair. Shockwave only lands on a Melania, but not enough damage from Fire to get that kill. As a little bit over the top, they're still looking with the needlework, and the burn is going to be enough. As Lost from Light able to get a second as well. And now it's another 2 for nothing. USA JJ will be able to get the clone out in time. So the Smiling Despair not going to land, but Fortnite all alone in the backline will get traded back. And it's a 2 for 2, but again, a 2 for 2, that benefits Akuma, but it might not stay 2 for 2, as Kibo actually going to go down, and Fiery trying to get away, gets a little bit of the healing, getting a little bit of the knockup, and it's going to be that 3 for 3, but again, this favors Akuma.
I still feel it absolutely does, but at the same time, I feel like Dorado Gaming Alpha, they can easily go toward,
no Bomba. Might still be okay. Deadly Flourish not gonna land. And Body Slam dodge. Radagon trying to make the outplay happen. Curtain Call as well. 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, and 4 gonna get flashed away, but still underneath the turret. And the Deadly Flourish will land. It's not the 4-cat that we typically see, but it is gonna be a kill to Radagon.
Hey, the Fat Man has been felled, and that's all AKM care about. They are going to be booking it toward this Otacon, and USA JJ, he knows that with his top laner down, with Dorado Gaming Alpha missing a key member for this objective, they are going to be forced to give up pursuing it for the time being. Gragas down for another 20 seconds without teleport means that AKM with numbers advantage have a fair and decent amount of time to take stuff away on this bot side map. They can probably claim this dragon. They might not be able to do the Otacon to follow up, but they can at least get vision around this river and make it really difficult for Dorado Gaming Alpha to face check. That last fight that we saw go even, I think, painted AKM in a different light where they might have potentially scaled, particularly the Gwen and Hui, who did get some kills under their belt in recent minutes. And now maybe that's what they needed to shine a light of hope here in game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, they're still down 5k gold, but with the dragon available, if they take it down quick enough, they'll even get the objective bounties from it as well. So that'll lower the gold lead even more. And again, looking over at this gold difference right now between all the players, I mean, Lost from Light was down over 2k at one point. Now it's just 600 gold, and we know Gwen is going to outscale the Gragas. I mean, that's just one thing this champion will always do, just in the late game becomes such a menace. And it's pretty even everywhere else. It's really just the jungle where there's this massive lead still with a 1.7k in favor of USA JJ. And it does look like they're just going to be pinging onto the dragon, but USA JJ is in the area. Might try to go for the steal here.
I mean, USA JJ going for a steal, that might be a one-way trip. He does have flash, though, so it just depends on if he can time it right. Okay, he actually misses going over the wall with the blast cone, so that
Happens
dragon
to the best of us.
will be, does. AKM gonna secure their second drink of the game, and yeah, now, backing off, catching waves, not overstaying their welcome. Dorado Gaming Alpha maybe forced to say, you know what, we're falling a little bit behind. That 10,000 gold lead that we had like 4 or 5 minutes ago, that has shrunk to about a 5,000. So we need to get something that brings it up a little bit more. They're just gonna rip the Otacon, but it's 5v5, so AKM, they could turn this.
Yeah, but now in the backline, they have the cycle, they have the bomb. They just bomb them on 2-3. That's the start you want. Fortnite going to be the first to go down, but in the backline, Fiery, they're able to find Decker as well. It's going to be 2 for 2 so far, but the backline is going to be gone. It is 3 for 2 so far, and now they're able to find Kibo trying to trade it back again, and now Bodyslam not going to be able to land. Ultimate over top, and Kibo going to be the first to go down. Lost from Light, still standing strong. They have the HP advantage on the side of AKM. Lost from Light still looking with a snip, a couple more autos. Lost from Light trying to get in range, but with the extra move speed, Lil Fizzy is going to be able to get away, and these fights are even. This is not what Dorado wants.
No, Lost from Light, they're also going to maybe claim this tower as well. USA JJ, he cannot stay here. He cannot keep
Baba
going.
actually going to make things worse. USA JJ got a little bit grief there, but that is going to be the kill, and they're pinged for the Otacon. Akuma might be making a comeback.
Yeah, AKM, their fallen members have respawned. Fiery is still at a decent amount of health. He's at about half with that healing from his passive. Now Lost from Light is here as well. The damage should be there for the Otacon, and the smite isn't there for Dorado Gaming Alpha. This is AKM's objective, Toki.
Yeah, but what about the fight afterwards? There are grouping right now on the side of Dorado. Their ultimates are back up off cooldown. 4k HP. They will land the Enchanted Solera. And Lost from Light still alive for now. Still trying to survive. Pop lost him as well. And now it is going to get stolen. Dorado, they get the Otacon. They get 2 for now. Fiery trying to get onto the backline. Might have gone a little bit too far. And now they're looking towards Lil Fizzy as well. We'll be able to trade it back. But that's a disaster for Akuma, just not able to get the smite.
Saves a stolen Otacon, a triple on the Ash, and Dorado Gaming Alpha, they prove that they are still in this game, still favored in this series, and when you had doubts, they reassure you that they can get the 2-0.
They needed that fight to go exactly the way it did for Dorado. I'm not sure what happened, why Fire wasn't able to smite it away, but the fact that they were able to find Lost from Light and Fortnite right at the start made it so difficult.
We're gonna get a look at this play again as Toki, I'm gonna be honest, I think we need it, my guy. We see paying attention to Alistair here. Okay, so Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands on the Lost from Light. He manages to actually get the W off before the shockwave hits, but then it's Evo with a massive knockup. Meanwhile, Alistar is free hitting on the side. The Hallowed Mist has dropped in the Ashes.
Oh, but now another team fight. Pop Blossom gonna land on a 3. Lost from Light's already gone. Millennium's already gone. Fire trying to make something happen on the back line, but it is just gonna be Kibo, the only one to get traded back. And it is a 3-for-1 in favor of Dorado, and they might just pull the Baron.
Yeah, USA JJ is a little bit low on health, so you might have to be careful of the lightning bolts from Way, but I think other than that, should be able to secure this Baron. Gragas fallen pretty dang low, Lil Fizzy. They are going to exfiltrate from that.
Yeah, they are going to try to contest this. The HP bars are super low, but the Baron already going to be going down. Instead, they're going to turn on to Radagon. That is going to be one. Can they find Fortnite as well? Look at the move speed. The Fat Man is going to go for it, and that is going to be the kill. Lil Fizzy will be able to get the ace and the Baron for the team.
My man bought Nikes at the store just yesterday. This man is moving around the map. 6-2 and 13. Lil Fizzy dominating in this game on the Gragas. Had a little bit of a hiccup, but is right back in the driver's seat here for game number 2. Dorado Gaming Alpha have reclaimed their gold advantage back to 8K, and with Baron on all 5 members, they should have no problem pushing into the base of Akuma.
Yeah, Dragon going to be spawning in 20 seconds, so it looks like Dorado, they're just going to want to get control of this river, get set up, but instead also looking to take down the Jungler Fiery. Going to get bomb butter into the back lane, just burst down right before the objective spawns. And Lost from Light might be the next target. Will be able to go into the Hallowed Mist, and that's going to prevent any kind of follow-up, but solid pickoff for Dorado.
It feels like, you know, last game we were highlighting USA JJ on the Trundle as he goes in onto Melania. Melania's just dead. No chance to get out. She gets eliminated on the Rakan. And Dorado Gaming Alpha, they are not stopping in this game, Tokibi.
Yeah, but Kibo and Lil Fizzy are on the wrong side of the wall, but even with 3 alive, there's just no threat coming in from Akuma. They can just walk right in and walk right out as if nothing happened. That is going to be the 3rd Drake of the game. 2nd Infernal Drake going towards Dorado. And now they're still looking towards Lil Fizzy, but Radagon's just tickling this Gragas. It has to be Lost from Blight dealing the damage. This Needlework is going to be coming through, but it's not going to be enough. They're going to lose their mid inhib, and they're going to turn around and maybe start looking for a different lane.
Gonna drop pressure into mid. Gonna go to the top. There's still a tier 2 standing there. I think this is a good idea. Don't over-force your hand in the base of AKM when they are respawning, grabbing those items. But really, you know, looking at this game holistically, it's awesome because, I mean, for Dorado Gaming Alpha in game number 1, we talked about USA JJ, how that Trundle really drove this engine home to a victory. Game number 2, though, it feels like all parts are a contributing factor, frankly. These guys are playing as a unit. They're playing as a team. Every one of them has a hand in making this dominating game 2 happen. In AKM, it's a lot scarier to knock down 5 members than it is a 1.
Yeah, but they are able to find a lot onto USA JJ. They're going to be able to just blow them up, but it is just going to be the 1 kill. They have lost their tier 3 turret in the top and the bottom lane. Lost from Light looking to trade with Lil Fizzy, and Deadly Flourish not going to be able to land. And again, Lil Fizzy just gonna back away, trying to buy some time for the cannon, but now the Baron buff is gone. Needlework all getting sidestepped, but final one will land. Bomb is gonna be there as well, but the knockup is there, and it looks like Lil Fizzy will get taken down. Who are they gonna give the kill over? And it is gonna be going to Radagon.
Yeah, Radagon's gonna pick that one up. Lil Fizzy just having a little bit of fun there in the 1v4. Does get taken down though. Not super consequential, as no objective going to be up for another at least 2.5 minutes for that Baron. And honestly, I think if you're Dorado Gaming Alpha at this point, you're comfortable with just waiting, right? You still are extremely ahead in this game at around 9,000. Akuma really can't threaten any of the current towers, any of the current neutrals, especially because they're going to have to deal with supers in the mid lane. So just use those to get pressure, carve out vision on the top side, and make it difficult for AKM to face check. And when that Baron finally does spawn, send it right back to the waiting room.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for Dorado Gaming to risk anything else. They don't need to keep playing forward. They got what they wanted, and they got out for the most part. The 2 that didn't, whatever. You're not going to be able to turn anything around. They still even have their tier 1 in the mid lane still available. And now Lil Fizzy has respawned. USA JJ already pretty far out on the map as well, so all their tools are there and available, and they can just look to start taking these final 2 inhibitors and maybe even start looking towards breaking the space completely.
Just going to take their time though. USA JJ gonna claim a red buff. Clone gonna spot out Fiery, so they are just gonna work to get control of that bush. Make sure that AKM are completely zoned away from this side of the map in preparation for this dragon. Honestly, it's just about AKM overstepping their bounds, right? Making sure that they, you know, walk into a bush they're not supposed to. If they do that, I think Dorado Gaming Alpha can really push for that end that you were alluding to, Toki B. But other than that, again, they don't really have any reason to force the play on their own. They are perfectly comfortable waiting for this Baron. If AKM slip up, great. But if they don't, so great.
Yeah, now they might be looking towards that bot side. They have found Lil Fizzy, but Fiery's on a ward, so immediately going to body slam right back in. There's no way Lost from Light can follow back up. Instead, they're going to be turning their attention on Fiery.
Oh.
And Enchanted Crystalero will get dodged away by the Hell Abysmal. Pop Blossom just separating the front line with the back line. And there's no way they can fight this split up. Fire going to be the first to go down. USA JJ with the Cyclone. They're trying to kite backwards. Radagon just trying to get as many autos as Fortnite actually snipes out Decker during that. And now they could look for more, but it is just going to be the one pick, the 1-for-1, as Dorado Gaming are forced to turn tail and leave.
I mean, you got what you wanted, right? Fiery is down. The jungler is away for another 30 seconds. If you can just go toward that top side and take Baron on spawn, I feel like that is a solid plan here from Dorado Gaming Alpha. They're going to take their time a little bit. They're going to reset instead of just going toward the top side. Make sure that if there is a fight on the Baron, they are well prepared in the item department. As Radagon's looking mighty juicy.
Not going to be able to land, almost there. As now we're also seeing on the bot side of the map, Lil Fizzy just threatening onto this inhibitor the entire time. And they're not going to be able to get the Baron, but this is the soul spawning right now if Dorado are able to get this. And they have the pressure, they have the vision. Lost from Light might be walking into a little bit of danger as now Fight breaking over onto the back line. They found Radagon. Radagon immediately going to get blown up as USA JJ also in a bad spot, so it is 1-for-1 so far. But Decker looking towards Forte, will get the shockwave fire. You're going to try to turn it around on the top side. Forte's going to be the first to go down, and Alistair just space gliding through. Will get a double kill. It is just Fiery that is left alive. It is 3 versus 1 though. Fiery's still going to be the target, getting volleyed. Flash over the wall. It's a quadra from Alistair, and that is going to be it. Dorado Gaming, it was a bit of a back and forth game, but they dominated in the early, gave a little bit back for content, and now they're going to bring it all the way in as they are going to be going up 2-0.
And Alistair one-upping his achievement earlier with that triple kill. He gets a quadra kill. The Ash performing in this game. Dorado Gaming Alpha, like a well-oiled machine, every part has its role, and they are running at max capacity. These guys are looking unstoppable, Toki, as like you said, they're the guys that go 2-up in the series.
I mean, what a game number 2. Game number 1, very much just Dorado Gaming the whole way through. But game number 2, and we're even seeing into the goal graph, I'm actually surprised. I thought that dip would be a lot bigger in that at that 2/3 mark, but no, I guess not. But Akuma Twinblades, they did almost bring it back. They got a couple solid picks for themselves, but outside of 2 fights, it was everything going the way of Dorado.
And honestly, I feel like this kind of alludes back to the issues we had with them, you know, post game level 1, right? Where we said you have a clear win con, you have a clear thing that you need to play for, but you're not giving the resources over to that win con enough to where it feels like they can be an absolute monster going into the mid to late game. It was a little bit more generous here in game number 2 as that win condition was the Gwen, and I think that Lost from Light did a really good job at bringing them back into that game. That divot, I feel, is solely due to their merit along with, you know, other contributing factors such as Fortnite, but really, it felt like there was nothing they did for this Gwen early on in the game, right? I mean, Lil Fizzy ran that laning phase on the Gragas. The Gwen being able to come back felt like it was from her, from their own merit. Had they gotten some, you know, backup from their team earlier, had they gotten some proactivity on that top side earlier in the game, I feel like this could have been a different result. But honestly, we can talk about Akuma Twinblades and the things they need to work on now in game number 3 all day. Dorado Gaming Alpha, though, these these guys are poised to complete a 3-0 against their opponents. We saw these guys, or this organization rather, get 0-3'd in AML just a couple of days ago. It would be sweet justice and a bit of irony to see them 3-0 in the Titan Immortal League against a top dog in the Akuma organization.
Well, we'll see if they are going to be able to get that clean 3-0 sweep over Akuma, or whether Akuma will be able to keep their semifinals dream alive. But for now, we are going to go to a short break. And when we come back, we'll see that game 3. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. And we are back with game number 3, potentially the last game of tonight's series between Akuma Twinblades and Dorado Gaming Alpha.
Yeah, and honestly, it has been a really solid start to finish series here from Dorado Gaming Alpha. Obviously, a bit of a hiccup in game number 2, but for the most part, it feels like every single member has been on a lock. They've been locked in, Toki, and have been delivering the wins here in this series. And for the side of Akuma Twinblades, this is do or die time for them. Like we said before we went to the break, we really like what we saw in game number 2. They had a lot of possibilities to actually come back from the deficit they found themselves in the early phases. But like game number 1, it feels like their win conditions just aren't getting the necessary resources right from the start. They'll pick it up in the mid game, but it feels like at that point, it's almost too little too late to start funneling your gold into one specific target or one specific member on your team, because everyone on Dorado Gaming Alpha got their gold funneled into them from minute number 1. So going to game number 3, I think if we could see a draft that clearly defines a win con and style that clearly plays towards said win con right from minute 1, this game could be brought back here, and this series could be brought back here by Akuma Twinblades. But only time will tell as we are waiting to get onto the draft.
Yeah, and I mean, at the same time, though, when you do go to help your win condition, right, you'd still expect the rest of your roster to kind of be in a state of at least an even game. But right now, Dorado Gaming Alpha, they seem to be winning out in almost every single lane. I think bot lane's the only place where the 2v2 has not been super one-sided towards Dorado, but it has not been a massive lead for Akuma Twinblades either, and I think that's kind of the difficulty that Fiery especially is kind of forced with here.
And even outside of the laning phase, it feels like Alistair and Kibo are just finding more ways to be relevant around the map than Radagon and Melania, right? We've seen that Radagon and Melania in game number 1, it very clearly was pointing toward a bot side win condition, but that Zeri just didn't have the resources necessary to really carry the game. And so because of that, she was not a very scary Zeri carry and ended up taking the L on that one. Though in game number 3, I feel like Radagon has been one of the best performing players. I think both him and Lost from Light had both really good game 1s and game 2s respectively. It's just about Fiery, Fortnite, and Melania being able to facilitate that earlier in the game time, and I think that could really make the difference as they are on blue and we are done with the bans. A couple strong B1s up here, particularly some bruisers in the jungle. Jarvan still up, Xin still up as well, but Ambessa going to be the play. Now, we are on the new patch, Toki, and a lot of jungle mains on Twitter, the high elo tier list extraordinaires, you know their names, have been saying Ambessa jungle kind of broken right now. So if Fiery has gotten some practice on it, wouldn't be surprised to see this function as a flex here in game number 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely possible. I played against an Ambessa jungle in my own games, and it absolutely rocks. It is so fast moving across the entire map. It is so annoying to play into, but we'll see where they do decide to put that, as we do see the Xin and the Talia locked in first for Dorado Gaming. And with the Sion locked in, again, we've seen Sion in mid lanes before, but I think this is an Ambessa jungle.
It could be an Ambessa jungle, and honestly, I feel like there's no reason to kind of hide it, especially with the Xin already locked. You kind of know what you're getting out of the matchup, so there's no point for Akuma to hold on to that jungle pick, I think, any further than they need to, and, you know, potentially risk some key targets being banned away that they might want to pick in the second phase. Speaking of that second phase, looking across the board here for Akuma, Ambessa, Sion, Nami, really lacking, I think, in that ranged firepower department at the current moment. Obviously, that spot will be filled up by the 80 carry role, but you need a high DPS ADC. You've got a really prominent front line here with Sion and Ambessa. I think there are a lot of 80 carries that can make use of this and should be able to free hit. This is kind of what we saw in the Ashe from game number 2, where, you know, Alistair just got so much space bought for him. I think this is a similar functioning front line for Akuma here the third time around. So yeah, just a high DPS 80 carry, I think, is a must for them on this draft.
Yeah, I mean, Jinx is still in the pool if they do want to go towards that. I mean, when you think high DPS 80 carry, one of the first things you think of is that Jinx. I believe did get a very small nerf this patch. The ultimate is slightly weaker than before. as we are going to be seeing the Braum locked in for Dorado. I'm curious what they're going to pick with it, as well as Anivia is going to be locked in for the mid lane. So now this basically confirms that it is in fact going to be a message jungle. We didn't have too many doubts at this point anyway, but this is the 100% set there. But it could also...
Ooh, okay. So
interesting.
This is interesting for the Smolder. I think it'll probably be counterpicked here from Dorado Gaming by, you know, a really high DPS ADC that can hit your face early, and Tristana fits that bill. The Lucian was banned, so I think Tristana is probably your next best option here. But this is a really interesting route that AKM are going. We said they needed firepower. They got the fire part of that word down, but I do fear for this early game damage profile. I think that AKM, obviously their early games haven't been the most impressive for this series so far. It's been the mid and late game that has given them glimmers of hope back into the difficult situations they found themselves in both games 1 and 2. This is a comp that kind of plays into that strength a little bit. This is a comp that comes online around the mid to late game when Smolder gets those 225, when Ambessa gets like 3 items, when Anivia gets her level 2 ultimate. Those are the timers that AKM are really looking forward to when it comes to fighting, and I think that this does play into their strengths really, really nicely. But on the other side, Dorado Gaming Alpha, I mean, this is just a snowball comp if ever I've seen one, right? This is the kind of style they have cultivated, and it's one that's gotten them a 2-0 up in this series so far. So it's really going to be a question of, can AKM turtle in time, not give up too many resources as well to, you know, get Radagon to scale, to get Fortnite to scale, and to get these champions to their breakpoints without compromising the game and just bleeding gold in the process.
And one thing to that point that I think Akuma actually has going for them is their wave clear. They have the Anivia, they have the Scion, they have the Smolder. So being able to turtle up in a base is definitely not ideal, even if you know you are going to scale late, because like you said, you're most definitely going to have to give up some of those objectives if that is the style of play you are going to be going for. But it does mean that they have a very safe way of hitting that late game. And I think the question's really going to be, can Dorado get enough before they reach that point where even if they do hit those 225 stacks, we're just not going to matter anymore. But only one way to find out, and that's by heading straight into the Rift. Game number 3, Dorado Gaming looking to end this series here and now, as Akuma are going to be looking to take us to a game number 4.
And to your point about the wave clear from AKM, Toki, I also think that it kind of is double as effective here, because you look on the side of Dorado Gaming Alpha, their siege is not the greatest, right? Obviously, you've got the Tristana with their bomb and the ability to really, you know, smoke those towers. Getting the grub buff also helps, but it's going to be hard for Alistair to walk up to these towers when an Anivia is right in his face. And so I do think that having Fortnite matching Alistair in the push at all times toward this mid to late game is going to be the thing I look out for. As you guys saw nothing on the chat, by the way. Just anyway, scratch his tape. How's everyone doing?
Yeah, we're all doing a fine and dandy here, as in the bot lane, a little bit of trading already going back and forth, but any trades that are more or less even will be favoring the side of Akuma Twinblades. They do have Melania with that heal with the ebb and flow, so they will always be in a pretty decent status. Alistair and Kibo actually taking a decent amount of damage. The level 2 timer just going to be there first for Melania and Radagon, and that's a pretty good start for the Smolder.
Yeah, it absolutely is. I mean, Radagon and Melania being able to, you know, dictate this lane. Alistair and Kibo now hitting level 2. This is usually the spike where we see Tristana's go for the all-in. They just jump in without a care in the world, knowing that they will probably win in the 2v2. But I feel like Alistair's health, it's so low that he actually just can't do that, right? So it does mean Radagon will have more time on these waves to free farm, get those stacks, and, you know, get the Smolder off to a really solid start in the first few minutes.
Yes, we're also seeing in the top side, Lil Fizzy forced to flash away from the decimating smash. And that loss from life starting to win out a decent chunk there too, as USA JJ2 gonna be going forward the gang. Lil Fizzy just barely will survive, but that's gonna be first blood. And look at the wave too. That is not the wave state you want to see as a top laner when you go down. That was so close though.
That really was. I figured he was going to try and flash and get the Soul Furnace proc, but it just didn't end up paying dividends. Now Lost from Light, you know, maybe you're saying, okay, he could try and look for a return gank. Even if that wave wasn't cleared, USA JJ is on the top side. I mean, this Xin Zhao is right there. You go for a tower dive, and there's no guarantee it doesn't turn into a 1-for-1. So he's going to think better of it. As USA JJ is maybe looking for a repeat gank. Lil Fizzy is teleporting back to the lane, and I mean, Cyan doesn't have flash.
Yeah, this definitely is a possible play. USA JJ 3-talent strike, gonna be able to get the knock up. Wind becomes lightning slow as well. Lil Fizzy just trying to run as fast as possible, get there. But Lost from Light will be able to back out to safety. Will be forced to reset. There is also in the mid lane Fortnite getting taken down decently low as well, but will still have that TP. I believe still has the egg as well, so not in kill territory yet, but at the very least almost lost the passive there.
You can see Fiery on the reset will be spotted around his Gromp. USA JJ actually opting to skip his red in order to run interference on that top side, so didn't get the full encampment the first clear around, which does mean Ambessa getting a little bit more gold than the Xin Zhao, considering USA JJ didn't actually get that assist from the failed tower dive by Lost from Light. So, I mean, all things considered, Smolder is still stacking decently well. Ambessa is up a good amount of tempo compared to this Jarvan. It's not all bad when you think about it here for AKM. They lose their life for the top laner, but, I mean, Cyan was never going to be the win condition.
No, and Cyan's gonna be, well, not happy being behind, but definitely not going to be too upset about it. I mean, we've seen the Baus. Very rarely does he actually win his lane, but we'll always be able to come back in the late game because Sion's just one of those champions where no matter how the game's going, you are always going to be Sion. You are always going to be useful. And once that HP does fully stack, it's going to be so difficult for the roster of Dorado Gaming to actually take down this tank.
USA JJ opting to look for a gank onto the bot lane, so again, forsaking his tempo, forsaking his camps, and
Decker playing really far forward. Will be able to get the egg now. Is there enough DPS to secure this kill? Waiting for those cooldowns, and with the seismic shove, Fortnite gonna be stuck again. Will be able to land the Flash Frost. Just needs a little bit more with the threat of volley. Flash away, not gonna be time, but the DPS is not there, but Decker will be able to run in and get one final threat of volley. That's gonna be the first kill of the game for the mid laner.
For almost 3 games in a row, Decker has found a solo kill onto Fortnite in this series. It was barely denied in game 1. He got it game 2, and he gets it in game number 3. Now, Fiery is onto the Dragon, but USA JJ knows this is happening, and Decker is a little bit low, but does have the Weaver's Wall, so if they can stall this out, maybe they can buy time for the Talia to join up. But, I mean, look at Alistar's health, look at Kibo's health. I think they know that this Dragon just isn't there, so they're going to smartly give it up. All things considered, AKM losing out on a lot of kills, not really being able to find any return kills, but they are getting the objectives. And
Dominus,
I mean, this is
in the top side. Lost from Light starting to get taken down to about 1/3 HP. If there's another Slice and Dice or Ruthless Predator, might be enough for the kill, but just going to be used to zone Lost from Light away from this massive wave. As Fortnite's actually going to walk up to the top side. It looks like they're thinking of doing a lane swap.
I think that's not an awful idea, considering how difficult it has been for Lost from Light. So, yeah, they're going to do that for the time being. Fiery is also on the top side, just dinged level 6. Meanwhile, USA JJ still level 5, so they have to be very careful of this Ambessa pulling the trigger, though not if she's in a 1v2 situation.
Yeah, going to be a bit of a dangerous spot. Melania is nearby, though. So is Lost from Light, but they're going to charge forward. Fire still trying to jump away. And Melania with the ebb and flow will get a little bit of extra HP. Decimating Smash. USA JJ will get the kill, but is on the wrong side of the map. As Lost from Light will be able to take down Kibo. They're looking for more. They're able to find their way onto Decker. There is no flash on this Talia. One final Decimating Smash, and Fortnite will be handed over the kill. And ironically, it's just going to be USA JJ that's able to get away.
I mean, it's AKM winning out on the trade. They finally get some kills under their belt, and the solo laners are the one to claim it as Lost from Light hits a pole.
Oh, and in the bot side, Alistair just barely going to be able to get that kill. Super close one, but that's the danger of the Tristana.
Yup, the Tristana doing what they do best in the 1v1, and I feel like that equalizes the gold between the two AD carries because, I mean, look at the CS difference between these two. Radagon almost has a 20 CS lead on the Smolder. Getting that kill means it's a little closer to even on the bot side, and this also means that USA JJ doesn't really have to worry about his bot side nearly as much anymore. He can keep focusing on the top side. He's here to gank Lost from Light. He does have the flash on the Scion, though.
Yeah, and will be forced to use it immediately, and they're just gonna follow through anyway. Ruthless Predator is gonna break the Soul Furnace, and with the HP from the Dominus, Turret not even gonna land the extra shot. It's just gonna be a free kill on a Lost from Light.
Yup, Lil Fizzy, they're gonna claim their second of the game on the Renekton. And honestly, Renekton, a champion who really can be a raid boss if it calls for it. I mean, if AKM focus down all their single target damage onto this Renekton and they can't one-shot Lil Fizzy, that just means the rest of Dorado Gaming Alpha get to pour their damage on top, get to pile their DPS onto the backline of AKM. And that is the thing they want to most avoid on the Akuma side. Grub's now being taken on the top side, but there is something brewing on the bot side maybe, as a Grump might just be the only casualty over there.
Yeah, they were also able to steal away the blue buff, as now Decker in a bit of a strange spot, but unfortunately the Crystallize is actually going to be blocking Melania from the rest, from the follow-up there. So they will steal away 2 camps while they do trade away those grubs. And Lost from Light actually defending the turret or the jungle of Fiery. But now USA JJ2 might just be winning in this 1v1. Just needs one more hit. When it becomes Lightning, won't land, but one final auto will get the kill. And that's going to be another kill on the Lost from Light.
That's a rough situation for Akuma on the top side, and they haven't really been able to make any progress on the bot side either. I mean, Radagon does have that 20 CS lead up over the Tristana. He is stacking nicely, but Fiery in particular on this Ambessa really hasn't been able to find an opportunity with this public execution. So it just feels bad when you are, having your top laner fall this far behind and you're not really able to trade that pressure on another part of the map as Akuma.
Yeah, now Lost from Light will be able to land a decent bit of damage onto Lil Fizzy, but level 9 versus level 7, especially on the Renekton, I don't think Lil Fizzy's really that worried about getting burst down by the Scion anymore. As Alistair gonna be going for the play in the bot side, will force the flash off of Radagon, but now Radagon could be looking to trade back, but it's so difficult on the Smolder. But we are seeing the gold graphs right now, and it's only 200 gold up for Radagon, whereas every other role, they're just behind on the side of Akuma.
That just kind of paints a picture of what we were expecting from this Akuma comp. To be fair, Akuma having an Anivia, a Smolder, and an Ambessa are likely to fall behind, right?
And the Scion too.
Yeah, and the Scion too. But we said it could be, within, it couldn't be within like, game's over territory by 15 minutes. And I feel like 2K, 1.5K, whatever it's at right now, really isn't that consequential. AKM, if they play their cards right in the mid to late game, once they get those break points, once they scale on up and get a lot of those valuable resources like the Smolder stacks, they can easily make up that gold difference. So it's just a matter of them being able to turtle, not give up too many kills and not give up too much pressure. And I feel like, look anywhere other than the top side, and they are doing just that.
Yeah, but now the Dragon is being taken by Dorado. They are roaming over. I'm not sure if this is something they want to contest, but it looks like they're going to try. Weaver's Wall just going to be there to split them up, but no fight's going to happen. But kind of to your point, I think that's even better for Akuma, the fact that they were able to get the first Dragon. Because, especially against an early comp, you're so worried about that early soul, but now it's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
Is that Fiery, though? In a dangerous spot, when it becomes Lightning. Flash Roar from USA JJ as well. Radagon going to throw Mom out into the middle, but it's not going to be enough. Fiery just going to be going down.
Yep, Fiery trying to look for some kind of return as he lands that public execution onto Alistair, but just not really there. Ambessa, the big difference between Ambessa in the early game and Ambessa in the late game isn't necessarily her damage profile. She does a lot of damage regardless of the time of the game. It's the tankiness, right? Not getting immediately blown up when you do enter that public execution, when you do go in deep on a team fight. And so I do think we saw that as a prime example. Fiery does land the damage, but just doesn't have the survivability. You very much are a glass cannon as Ambessa early on until you can get, your Death Stance, your Sundered Sky, and some tankiness, some more HP under your belt.
Yeah, definitely. But now potential play being made towards the bot side. Decker was trying to rub down there, but will get caught out by this control ward, so will be forced back towards that middle lane. But Radagon still growing that CS lead, even with the 2 kills on Alistair, still getting the stacks. There's definitely hopium right this time around for Akuma. I think so far this has been the closest early game we've seen in this series, and that's where Akuma has this really hyper late game comp.
Yeah, and it's also just the fact that Akuma being able to get over this early game hump, that is something that they have struggled with in games 1 and 2, is now Lil Fizzy maybe in a little bit of trouble. Doesn't have Dominus.
Yeah, Decimating Smash was not able to land, but the Unstoppable Onslaught did. Another Decimating Smash. They just need a little bit more damage, and Fortnite's on the way. They might just give this kill over to the bird, but it's going to be Fiery securing that kill instead towards that jungler. That's a pretty big shutdown going over to Ambessa.
Absolutely in support of them giving that over to the Ambessa. This girl has been starving throughout the game. 0-2 finally gets a little bit of gold injected into her. I think that is extremely vital, as now Fiery maybe feeling a little bit confident now that Lil Fizzy is down, wanting to look for some aggressive play into the enemy jungle, but thinks better of it at the end of all of that, as Kibo is on this top side. So it turned out to be the correct play from Fiery.
Yeah, and that we also saw loss from Light was forced to burn the flash. USA JJ just able to force that out in the 1v1, but Radagon in a bit of a dangerous spot. Alistair gonna jump in onto this poor Smolder and getting blown up. One more jump in with the ultimate. It's gonna be enough. Alistair with another solo kill in the bot lane, 3-0.
Yeah, Alistair gets another one for the Tristana now. Like you said, 3-0. Fortnite maybe looking for something as well. Fiery.
Oh, but now in the backline, public execution finds way out of Alistair, but Alistair flashing forward, looking for Melania. Not going to be able to find the kill, but they do have the stun onto Fiery, and Alistair's just fine.
I feel like that was such a good play from Alistair. He says, I need the rocket jump reset. I need to get away from this Ambessa. In doing so, they chunk out the Ambessa because of the Braum passive. Fiery can't continue the fight, and this is what we talked about. Ambessa in the early game is just a glass cannon. You have so much damage, but if you can't cover the distance, if you can't land those spells, if you're getting kited, you are going to get bursted down just as quickly as you can burst people down. And Alistair, above all odds, or against all odds rather, does survive that encounter with the AKM bot side plus jungler. Now on the top side though, Herald has been spawned, and Lost from Light says, Chuckle, I'm in danger.
Yeah, Lost from Light will lose the turret, will lose the feats of strength as well in favor of Dorado. And boop, just gonna get hit a little bit by the Rift Herald. And USA Dating is just gonna do that on the way to the tier 2. But Fiery is here. 1 HP left, and it will hit onto the tier 2. And now they're trying to turn it around onto Fiery. That is gonna be the concussive blows, but with a tier 2 there, they don't have enough damage, but huge play for Dorado.
Dude, USA JJ is just the biggest gamer of all time. This guy.
Oh, Alistair jumps forward, but there is Melania nearby. Mom is gonna get called, and I think they want this Tristana. Can they actually reach her though? And with the Aqua Prison and with the Hex Gate, Alistair just gonna say, see ya later, nerds. And he'll be gone.
Dang, Dorado Gaming Alpha. You know, this might be the closest game we've seen in this series so far, Toki, but as far as style points go, this is Dorado Gaming Alpha just putting on some crazy fancy schmoves as USA JJ gets out of dodge. Now Decker is in the area. Fiery
in the back line, looking for Fire, will be able to land it. And now Fire's going to be the first to go down. Lil Fizzy and USA JJ are on the back line as well. Fire's going to be the first to go. Radagon trying to run away, trying to survive, but another stun's going to be enough. Alistair just rocket jumping between, and it will be a 3-0 in favor of Dorado Gaming. And now the snowball begins.
It absolutely does. Dorado Gaming, they group on up, they find 3, they claim a turret to go with it. It will be traded back by AKM in the mid lane, but a Dragon also going to be taken at the end of all of that. Still, I feel like we talked about it in the draft, Toki. We said that when you are up against the Smolder and you've got these early game threats like the Tristana, it's kind of like a double-pronged
Lost from Light fighting into Lil Fizzy, buying a little bit of space, a little bit of time, but Fortnite just doesn't have the damage right now. Little Fizzy just continue to chase forward. Decimating Smash buys a little bit of space. The Redemption heals the fully charged Q. I mean, That is depressing, but Fiery now in the area. Melania is going to be able to land the Aqua Prison, and now Kibo trying to get away. Alistair's in the area too, but I don't think Alistair wants this fight. Fiery's still in for more, but the wall actually separating the two, and now Alistair hitting onto Fiery, trying to get this 1v1. It's starting to get a little bit close. Fortnite's in the area. Evan Full buys a little bit of time, but it's not enough yet. They will land the Flash Frost. Alistair almost taken down, but Melania goes down in the backline. They are going to lose Fiery as well, and to follow up Fortnite, they got a couple kills, but they went too deep, and it's 3 for 2 for Dorado.
Yep, classic hammer and anvil tactic. Dorado Gaming Alpha bring them in too deep, like you said, Toki, and they smack them right down. AKM, they get a couple of kills to go with it, but it's nothing compared to the reward that Dorado Gaming Alpha claim. As now, Dragon not going to be up for another 3.5 minutes, but that doesn't say the same about the Otacon coming up in about a minute. As we do get a quick little replay. Lil Fizzy surviving for a really long time. And yeah, this just goes back to what you said, Toki. I mean, Fortnite, he's tickling him. He's literally tickling him. The redemption actually almost kills Lost from Light, as I feel like this was just them trying to exfiltrate everyone. Kibo, tries to save Lil Fizzy, and then Alistair tries to save Kibo. Kibo ends up going down. It works the third time around as they try to save Alistair, and they actually get him away. Still, though, I mean, look at how deep they are. They don't have vision. They don't have wards. They don't have really any right being as far into the map as they are, and yet they keep chasing. Fortnite reads for the kill. He gets taken down, and we're right back to live.
Yeah, and they have been able to find Fiery. Fiery trying to get some damage in the backline, but it's still a 4 versus 1. We'll get finished off. Melania almost gets hit by the wind, becomes lightning. Will just barely be able to sidestep it. But in the meanwhile, that is going to be the bot tier 1 going down to Fortnite. But at the same time, the Otacon is up and available. And I don't think they can contest it, even with 4 members. If they were all there, I still think Akuma would have had to give this up.
Yeah, I mean, Dorado Gaming Alpha, they find Fiery, they immediately pivot onto the objective. They are giving a little bit of gold up on the bot side here. As you can see, both Radagon and Fortnite are pushing into this tier 2. Decker being here, I think, means that they probably won't be able to claim it. Just the wave clear from Talia being efficient enough to deny them that. But it is somewhat of a trade for Akuma at the end of the day. Certainly not a worth it one, but they do get a little bit of gold at the end of all of that. Now, though, Dragon up in a little less than 2 minutes. Dorado Gaming, after that Otacon, they have spawned on the bot side, and Fortnite, boy, oh boy, if that Hex Gate was not there, you would be serving up fried chicken, my friend.
Yeah, 100%, but let's talk a little bit about Hopium, because we're seeing 800 stacks on Lost from Light. Last time we saw Radagon at about 180 stacks. So they are getting there. They are almost there, but can they actually reach it? 2 items as well for Fortnite. So the Anivia also has a little bit of gold. Might be able to burn Lil Fizzy a little bit better next time around when it is just those Merc Treads, but we'll see if it is going to be enough, because they are still down almost 5k gold at the 22-minute mark. It's going to be dangerous.
It absolutely is. Now Lil Fizzy thinking this is a 1-for-1, but there are people in the corner watching.
Yeah, they have the unstoppable onslaught, decimating smash, public execution. They're just throwing everything onto Lil Fizzy, and that is going to be a kill and a tier 1 turret. But how much can they get right now on the side of Dorado Gaming Alpha? Radagon is here in the mid lane, but might not be the safest underneath that tier 2. Will be forced to back away, as now Decker actually taking a lot of damage from Fortnite, but Kibo gonna be here, gonna force the flash of Fortnite, and with the Glacial Fissure, it is gonna be dodged away. Fiery still trying to make some space, trying to get on top of Decker, but Kibo's gonna be the first to go down, and that Tidal Wave does land, but they don't have any abilities to follow up, and unfortunately, the Crystallize not gonna be able to block off Decker either.
And now I feel like the objective here for Dorado Gaming Alpha, I mean, you've lost 2 of your members. AKM, they're reclaiming territory on the mid lane off of those 2 kills, so they should be able to transition this into some pressure on the bot side river. Realistically, Dorado Gaming Alpha, Akibo is respawning right in conjunction with this Dragon, so if you can stall out for just like 10 to 15 seconds, you can fight for this Dragon, but it's being started right off of rip, so I think AKM should be able to claim this.
Yeah, getting those support kills really underrated, because they're not going to have the vision to go into this. But what about the team fight afterwards? The Dragon already gone the way of Akuma. but they are still stuck in the pit. Radagon with flap. Will be able to just get over. And it is on Lil Fizz to find the play. Dominus already popped. USA JJ flashing forward. Radagon flashing behind the wall. Mom coming out over top on everyone. Crescent Guard buying so much time and space, though. They're still trying to fight. They're able to find one. Lil Fizz and Kibo actually will go down. It's 2 for 2 so far. And Akuma, they might be able to just back away with just that. It's all on Decker trying to keep them in the spot. But Alistair going forward will get hit by the Aqua Prison. One more turn shot. Not going to be enough for the kill. Barrier will be there to protect this Tristana. And I think as an Akuma fan, you take this.
You absolutely do. Fortnite's Glacial Storm.
Oh, but Fortnite walking back in. You cannot be doing that. You are just a bird. They are throwing rocks at you, my friend. Glacial Fisher as well. One more seismic shot. Fortnite still alive, though. Will get finished off in the end. And Melania goes down trying to save them. And now Radagon is the final one, almost going down to Alistair there at the end. But unforced errors. I think that's the only way to say that.
It absolutely feels like it. AKM, they walked away with an even trade, and when you're this far behind, you'll take an even trade any day of the week. They overstay their welcome, and Dorado pick up 2 for their mistake. Almost 3, as like you said, Radagon almost falling to Alistair in the process. But still, I feel like the big thing for us, we talk about stalling, we talk about, you know, delaying that Dragon Soul. AKM, they get another Drake. They have denied the Soul for another 10 minutes at least, and this gives so much more time to Radagon, to Fortnite, to all the scaling win conditions on Akuma to hit those break points by the time some real consequential objectives come up. And the first one gonna be up in about 5 seconds. Baron on the map and on the menu. Dorado Gaming Alpha, I feel like their plan now, Toki, it's got to be find a pick and immediately force onto that objective.
Definitely, but the gold is starting to shrink just a little bit. They were up 5K, now they're down to 4.5, which again, isn't a big difference on its own, but that was also after a few minutes, and the later we get in the game, the less this gold lead means, as looks like we are going to be having a little bit...
Froggy Cam.
Yeah, we need Froggy Cam. Get on that right now, production, but... jokes aside, let's look at the gold here, because we do have Fiery basically even with USA JJ's.
Oh, wow. They're actually just starting it right off rip. I respect this, honestly. I think Dorado Gaming Alpha, we talked about the importance of ending this game early, and they are playing so proactively, even a little bit too much, I would say, in this game, because they don't want to deal with 225 Smolder. They don't want to deal with full build Anivia. And I can't really blame them. So they're making plays like this where they're instantly burning down the Baron. If this works out, I think it almost surely gives them priority enough to claim Dragon Soul and really put a timer on AKM's game.
Yeah, and I think that's the issue. Dorado, they want to try and end as fast as possible, but at the same time, I think at this point, Radagon is going to have the full stacks, is going to have that execute. And we saw there were a couple fights, especially that one in the bot side, where they're just so grouped up on Dorado. And Radagon's Super Scorcher Breath was just hitting all 5 members. That's percent HP burn. Everyone talks about the execute, but just that max percent HP burn does so much damage in those longer team fights. When you have a Scion, when you have an Abessa, and even just a little bit of healing coming out from Melania, it is a lot of healing. And a lot of HP that, like, it basically makes the fights take so long.
It does, and I feel like that has been the name of the game for this series, as we are getting word from our producer, and it's not a good word, ladies and gentlemen, as the game being paused does imply, similar to game number 1, that drum roll please.
And it
Dorado
is.
Gaming Alpha 1. How did they win? We don't know.
I don't think we need to know, because at the end of the day, that is so unfortunate that this is the way it has to end. But I mean, they've been the better team on the day. They were winning out a lot of those team fights. Alistair especially was so far ahead on the Tristana there. And with those rocket jump resets, probably just Goomba stomped all the way to victory. But clean 3-0 for Dorado. I mean, not the way we wanted to see this, but... yeah, definitely a big win for them.
And definitely a sad way to go for Akuma Twinblades, an organization so used to being near or at the top, cut down in the top 8. Still a respectable distance to go here in the Titan Immortal League, certainly, but we've seen this team do really well in the past, and you gotta believe that the players themselves thought they could go all the way. So heart goes out to them, but still Dorado will advance to the semifinals. And Toki, now for the ultimate question, who is your series MVP, my friend?
I mean, it has to be USA JJ. I mean, game number 1 just made all the right plays on that trundle. Game number 2 just kind of been everywhere on the map in all 3 games. And even in game 3 on the Jin Zhao, basically kept Lost from Light from playing the game at all. I mean, just those repeat ganks, basically matching the flash timer all the way up till the end. This wasn't even just during the lane phase. We even saw it around the 24-minute mark. Lil Fizzy is dead. Just went down to the one before. And then USA JJ goes up, jumps Lost from Light, burns the flash again. And so, I mean, yeah, I think definitely the best player on the day.
I would probably give it to USA JJ as well, but a close second would definitely be Alistair. I think regardless of if this guy was played for in the bot lane, regardless of if he was strong side, weak side, on a side lane, whatever you want to say, he managed to be relevant. So really big shout out to him. But overall, I think everyone on Dorado Gaming Alpha did a really solid job. So congratulations to them. Excited to see where they go from here. And yeah, Toki, that's going to do it from us for the top 8, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a massive series. And I got to say, as a little bit of a tangent, an 80 carry being relevant in a game is near MVP status play. That's what we're hearing from the jungle main right now.
No way.
Yeah,
Absolutely
but
not.
It is going to be a 3-0. It is going to be Dorado Gaming going to the semifinals, where we will wish them luck. We're not sure which game we will be streaming next week, as I'm sure most of the other results aren't going to be quite in.
No game.
Oh, right. Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving is in 7 days, my friends. So we don't know what game or series we'll be streaming in 2 weeks. Is the correction there. I know nerd face emoji to go with that. But yeah, honestly, everyone, for next week, enjoy your holiday, enjoy your time with family, eat some turkey, have some gravy along with the mashed potatoes. If you like the cranberry slices, you are a psychopath. That's all I gotta say, Toki.
All right, and if you're like me, Canadian up north, enjoy your day of regular work. But with that, we are gonna call it a night here. Thank you all for coming. Enjoy your holidays. See you in 2 weeks, and have a great night.